G'day guys and welcome back to Casual Rage. Prepare to start the show, R2. This is where the fun begins. G'day guys and welcome to Casual Rage 142, where we casually rage out about the topics of the week. And of course, we've got episode 5 of Ahsoka to fully break down. The nostalgia bait episode is what I'm calling it. Excuse me. I hope you're all doing well. We've got a bit to get through and not a lot of time to get through it in. Anna's got to go and do her Jack show, and she's hosting this week, so she can't hang around for too long, so we will get through the episode though. Like I said, I hope you're doing well, and Grant's here as well. Anna, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm trying to figure out how to set my time correctly. It says right now that we've been live for over an hour.
That happened last week as well.
It did. No, ever since I rebuilt my PC, my time has been off by an hour, but I don't know what's going on. But hi, I'm good. This show sucks, and this episode was literally just nostalgia bait. And you would think with all of the billions of dollars that Disney has, you would want to do a show and just be like, oh, this is all new stuff. Let's not recap everything. Let's do something new with this instead of just showing flashbacks so people can see the cartoon in live action. It's like, no, don't you want people to go back and watch it?
Mm-hmm.
And watch the content? So do something cool in live action. And so that way it makes people want to go back and watch the cartoon. But no. So we just rewatched the Clone Wars basically, but we will get into it. But hello, everyone. Hello.
But they also needed to set this up properly for the people that haven't watched any of the other stuff, which they really haven't done well at all. Like set up the characters, give them obviously their motivations, all of that sort of thing. But yes, we will get into it. Mr. Grant Gregory, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Unfortunately, I just rewatched that last episode for I don't know why. I a little disheartened, a little sad, and very disturbed by watching people's reactions to a young Ahsoka.
Yes, Kitty. He's interrupting me. Say hello to the chat, Charles. Hey. Okay, don't say hello to the chat.
Lego buddy.
At least you're
right.
Cute.
Yes, that's right. So let's see who we've got here in the chat. We've got Spike in Madness. How you doing? Good to see you.
I got to meet him in real life at Chrissy's show.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
I heard Chrissy's show was a bit of a shambles. I saw all your Twitter posts.
Yeah, the post I got in trouble for. Yeah.
Oh, did you get in trouble for that?
No, I don't post things unless people tell me to post things, and I was told to post it, so I did. And I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? Like, yeah, it's cool. And then it's one of those things where you find out who your real friends are based on who's talking shit about you and who's not. And so I found out that the hard way. And it's like, oh, because people were saying that, oh, you posted that and you're making money off of it. And I'm like, it's Twitter. If anything, you make like $1. And I deleted it when I found out that people were upset about it. But it's just all that drama. But yeah, on top of the fight, and then there's drama, and it's hell. It's hell. But Chrissy's set was fun, and it was cool.
No, that's good. People. That's good. That's good. But yes, thank you, Spike, for being here. Who else we got? We got Jace. Now, after this stream, I am going to be over on his channel talking about Ahsoka even more. I don't know how much Ahsoka I can actually talk about, but I'll do my very best. But yes, I will be over there after this stream ends. Corey's in the chat. We've got Dr. Coffin Nails. Yes, Disney Star Wars is not Star Wars. I couldn't agree more. Red Hoodwinked is here. Star Wars Marvel Purist. I streamed with him yesterday over on X-Wing's channel. That was a lot of fun. Good to see you. Dr. Lee's in the chat. Melissa Lord, The Nuisance Bird, Chilliam, Sith Assassin trailer. Yes, how you doing? Who else we got? Holocron's here. Really? Tug just got his channel struck. What happened there? That's interesting. Well, was he in the middle of streaming, or did something happen? Did he put out a video? That's very interesting.
Amber Heard finally got him.
Yeah. Unlimited Powers here. Let's go. This will be interesting. Yes, well, it will be interesting. Darth Scipio, how you doing? OG Star Wars is in the chat. Dan Blackroyd, of course. Blake, how you doing? We've got Mike Hill for 5 says, "Hail Rhino. It looks like Ahsoka should have been training Hera." Yeah, we'll get into that.
Oh yeah. Suddenly everybody has force powers now.
Oh, it's so annoying. They take away the uniqueness of the entire thing, and they're just destroying so much lore. And the funny thing is people think that they're diving so much into the lore, and it's like, no, they're doing more damage to Star Wars than you could possibly imagine. Soul Assassin's here. How you doing? Steven Salcedo, Ads. Good to see you. Here for Anna and a Rhino. Yes. How you doing? Let's see. Let me just scroll through a little bit here. Jets Parks. Good to see you. Jet Parks. Jet Sparks. There you go. I was putting the space in the name at the wrong spot. Grandmaster Chris, good to see you. Wagon, LDT, good to see all of you. Thank you all for being here. If I missed you, thank you. And let me just give Ryan Reaper a shout out because he's a legend and helps us out a lot on the Full Aussie. Good to see all of you here. All right, let's get straight into the discussion, shall we? So, first of all, I forgot to bring it up, actually. I'm going to bring this over here. Anna, what were your thoughts on, I know you gave a little bit of a brief thing there, but your thoughts on the episode?
I mean, it's everything just done over again. And it wasn't even that cool. So you guys all know I cried when Luke Skywalker came back in Mando, but I feel like I mostly cried because it's got little baby Yoda, and I got going back and watching my reaction. I think I was more excited to see R2 turn on and interact with baby Yoda than I was to see Luke, but that got me, and I was like, oh my gosh, maybe they're gonna do something with this. But that was specifically because of Jon Favreau. I've never been a Dave Filoni fan. I've never really cared for him. I think his voice is annoying. I think the fact that he wears a cowboy hat when he's not a cowboy, you know, I don't know. He just reminds me of like the definition of a soy boy. And the fact that you have the Force. Yeah, exactly. That's what I said in my review earlier. I was like, it's like Oprah, like she's giving everyone the Force. And it's dumb. It's like I said, you have all of this money, and instead of doing new things and expanding upon those ideas that you established in both the Clone Wars and Rebels and doing something more, it's a bad video game plot. It's like, okay, we got to go do this. It's like if you watch any show, like you don't even have to watch Star Trek. Go watch an episode of Breaking Bad. This entire plot of the entire show is a single episode of Breaking Bad. Like that's what they would accomplish in one episode. So it's being written by someone who's the most unprofessional professional. And I've said this plenty of times. Katie Lucas is my favorite Clone Wars writer. I think she wrote the best episodes of the Clone Wars. So, and they're all about women. The Force is female, right? So why don't you give Katie a call? Hey, Katie, can you do this? And if Dave Filoni wants to direct it, I don't particularly think he's bad at directing animation, but also I think people that are animating, now that I've seen him direct live action, I think the animators added so much more to the story than they're given credit for, because it's the people that are actually going in and animating their bodies and their faces. They're the ones that are doing the acting, and Dave Filoni is just like mapping out what they're doing. And you can see that the animation, it's more animated, like as far as the characters actually having emotions and responding to one another. Whereas in this show, everyone's just dead. Nobody's doing anything. So I'm like, wow, the animators really working hard.
I don't think that so far from what I've seen in the first 5 episodes of this show, the characters that we've got that are from animation that they've brought over into live action aren't anything, and I think I've mentioned this before, aren't anything like their animated counterparts.
No.
Like Hera does not act like Hera, the Hera that we knew. Sabine doesn't act anything like the Sabine that we knew. Now, people want to say, oh, yeah, but there's been a time jump and things have changed in that little time period.
It's not going to change as a human.
That's right.
But there hasn't been a time jump.
Well, so look at this, guys. The time jump is like 5 years, right? Like, so go back and watch one of my streams from 5 years ago. Go and watch Rhino's stream from 5 years ago. We're still the same people. We might be 5 years older, and maybe our I don't know, our filming techniques have improved a little bit, but we're still the same people.
Yeah.
So that whole excuse is like, oh, all of a sudden they all lost their personalities. No, that's not how it works.
No. But see, this is the thing. Grant made a good point. I don't know if there actually is a time jump, because there's a crossover point for the end of Rebels with the beginning of this show. Like the bit where I think it's episode 2. Episode 2?
Where Ahsoka flies in.
Where Ahsoka flies in and Sabine's looking at the mural and touches the mural and stuff like that. Like, there's an actual crossover point. So I don't know if there actually is a time jump. And it still brings me back to that question of, excuse me, sorry. When did Ahsoka effectively train Sabine? Because she was her apprentice. This is the thing. People just are ignoring what they know because of the nostalgia that they're seeing on the screen. And it's really weird to me. It's really strange to me how people can actually do that. Because, like, for me, watching this episode, I think Anna and I had pretty much the exact same reaction. This is just nostalgia. And this is designed to help you, the viewer, ignore the stupid shit that they've actually done.
But they don't even accomplish that. That's the biggest problem with it. Like,
well, they have with some people, Grant.
Every little thing that you'll hear praise for are tiny little snippets in certain things. You won't hear anyone talk about what happened. They'll just talk about a moment on screen. That's literally all people are praising. Oh, that shot was amazing, which turns out when I actually broke it down, only 4% of the actual frame changed during that whole flash on and off thing. Everything else was literally smoke and mirrors. Like, it's the oldest trick in animation, and you can clearly tell he's an animated director because he's directing live action like an animation, and it just doesn't translate.
But that's the other thing too. It's good that you mentioned that. The viewer views animation differently to live action. Or they should. At least they should. There's a lot of people out there that aren't. They're ignoring, again, the stupid shit that's going on. But like when I watch the Clone Wars, there's some things that I can let go of, right? Like, you know, it's a little bit silly that Anakin can jump from like a really low level space to some really high level area or something like this, or Ahsoka can jump from ship to ship and land on the deck and or be safe. But then yet when Obi-Wan's got the high ground, it's like, dude, I've seen you jump higher than that before. You know, you should be able to literally get over Obi-Wan.
It's as silly in animation as it does in live action. Like some of the stuff that they do in the cartoon, it would look like a clown if they tried to do that. Like
they did
in her space gear.
Yeah, I was about to say the Ahsoka in the space suit.
Let me grab it.
Ahsoka in a space suit doing like the cartwheels in space and all of that sort of thing.
It's the reason. It's the reason they had Yoda do that in the movies versus an actual person, because it would have looked dog shit.
This is like the action figure from the Clone Wars of Ahsoka in her space gear. And so it's not like, it's just a little helmet that goes over. And Anakin and everyone have it.
Imagine trying to get that on. The helmet that they put on her in this series, like that is actually shaped to go around her leku and all of that sort of thing. Like, and she got it on so quick. Anyway, we go and
made like this. It's universal that it can fit on everyone. Like just do this. It's so stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she does change clothes quick. I've noticed that's a thing. That's a theme with Ahsoka. She's really good at changing her clothes in between scenes.
Well, it's like hyperspace skipping or hyperspace teleportation. There's no time that goes by. It's just quick change. That's it. Get it on. Get the kid on. Always. Oh, they've changed StreamYard again.
Oh no, what happened?
What happened?
No, instead of actually having to select the sharing audio, you can just select a tab that says always share system audio.
Oh, that's actually convenient.
It is. All right, so let's go through a little bit of the episode. Oh, so Grant, like what first of all, what do you think of the episode? Like we haven't actually heard what you thought.
Okay, sorry, I'm remembering that scene there. Someone had the dumbest take in one of the reviews that I watched.
Mm.
They're like, "Oh, they could just melt. Why don't they just melt it back together so they can see the map?" And I'm like, oh. But no, I thought overall this episode was designed purely and simply just so people can go, "Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that! Wait a minute, I've seen that. I remember that." And because I'm remembering that, I'm taking all the emotions that I had from when I first saw that, combining all that into a scene. Like,
it's so that they can do this.
I like seeing Hayden Christensen on screen. I get that sort of thing, because he was the first Star Wars character that I really got into, because I never got to see Star Wars when I was a kid. I wasn't so seeing him now, I like seeing him, and the fact that people shat on him for years, I like seeing the fact that he's able to come back and have some sort of reverence and everything like that. Even during those little fight scenes, I enjoyed the fact that you can still tell that he actually knows what he's doing. He actually has choreography and training that looks effortless with him, and I enjoy that aspect of it. But he's just wasted. And I was right. I said it was a nothing burger, that it wasn't going to really be him. Like, I knew that coming straight in, because they can't commit to anything. This is the best non-committal episode ever. Filler, and it will be the best episode that everyone remembers.
Well, it's made for these people so that they can do this. And the funny thing about that is the fact that we don't need Dave Filoni and the creators of this show don't need to actually give any explanation, because they've got the reaction that they want. Right? Nobody's actually asking the question, where was Ahsoka? What was that whole thing that Ahsoka was in? Right? Like, everybody's saying that it's the world between worlds, but again, my understanding of how the world between worlds works, and if we look at what we've seen in the past, Ezra had to work out a video game puzzle, to get into a temple to basically get into the world between worlds. He then had to pull Ahsoka through a portal to bring her into the world between worlds. But then in this, we lost Anna. I thought she was frozen. Then in this, she just falls off a cliff, gets hit off a cliff, and she's in the world between worlds. The thing is, like, people want to make the argument that it's like the Mortis arc, right? The Mortis arc in the Clone Wars. And when Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and Anakin were in the world between worlds, when they woke up in their ship, once they came back and they were there for hours, if not days, once they came back to the real world, the clone trooper that was talking to them over the radio was like, we're only gone for minutes. You were out of communication for minutes. So it was like not a lot of time went by in the real world.
Which is the complete opposite of this.
But see, people want to say it's the same thing. That's what happened to Ahsoka, but it's not, because Hera's there trying to search for them. It goes from light to dark, to light again, to dark again.
Exactly.
It's like 2 days have gone by, and she's under the water for 2 days. And this is the thing. We're yet to get an explanation from anyone in regards to what this was, what Ahsoka was actually in. People want to make the argument. Oh, cameras.
I don't know. My PC randomly restarted. Now my camera's not working. So I'll be off cam until I can fix it. I'm back. Right. So what did I miss?
I was just saying how people want to use the argument that what Ahsoka was in was like the Mortis arc from the Clone Wars. So, like, you know how Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka went to Mortis, and then when they came back from Mortis, they were in their ship. The clone trooper was talking to them, but they were only gone for minutes in the real world. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, people want to say that's the same thing that happened with Ahsoka, but that's not the case, because Hera was searching for her for 2 days. Or it seemed like it, because we went from light to dark again. So she was drowning for 2 days.
Well, let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say it was bad editing. That's at least it's at least day to night.
It's at least a whole day. So I don't really understand how people can come up with that, to come to that conclusion with it. There was another point that I was making, but I can't remember. I'm sure I'll remember.
It was about the time dilation between, and we didn't get an explanation of what it was. Was it actually world between worlds, and everyone's using headcanon to try and link it to something else?
That was the other thing that I actually want to point out. People are saying, right, that if all of this was in Ahsoka's head, then how can, there you go.
Thanks.
If this was all in Ahsoka's head, then how can Anakin, like when she says, I will not fight you, how can Anakin know that he's heard that before? Because Ahsoka wasn't there when Luke said that to him on the Death Star, right? So this must be a manifestation of actually Anakin. But again, we're getting no explanation from the creators.
It is a very generic thing to say, like.
Well, see, I actually thought that it was from the Rebels Season 2 episode, but Ahsoka doesn't say, I will not fight you. She says, I will not leave you. Not this time. This is like when they're on the with Ezra on that planet, and Ahsoka and Vader have their fight in Season 2. I thought it was that, but I went back and I had a look to see, does Ahsoka actually say, I will not fight you? She doesn't. She says, I will not leave you. Not this time.
Well, it's exactly like that meme that Flash posted in the chat, where it's like, hey, Anakin, or like, hey, so what is it? Like, hey, your son, da-da-da-da-da.
So Anakin should have said to Ahsoka, hey, contact my son, Luke Skywalker. Tell him that Palpatine is still alive secretly on a planet called Exegol. And he's got a bunch of, an entire army of Star Destroyers with Death Star technology cannons on it.
Powered by his own clones, which we won't talk about, but it'll be in some other material you'll have to read to know it. So,
but hang on a second. This is supposed to retcon the sequels, so maybe that's why they didn't bring it up. So stupid. Anyway, I want to talk about this really quickly, because the power levels of lightsabers change depending on how the writers want them to perform. So, at the end of the last episode, Baylan Skoll stabs the map that you. Oh, hang on, I'm not even showing it on the screen. There we go. Stabs the map, and the ball heats up, right, to the point where it breaks in half.
It's so
But
stupid.
yet, Sabine, when she gets stabbed, she's okay. Like the next day.
Yeah, she's got 2 stomachs though. So
Well, but also notice this: nothing is melted in here. It honestly, it looked like they just ordered something off of Etsy because it's like you can see all the little gears and stuff in this,
Yep.
and it's like, what is this? The 1930s? Like you guys
Yeah.
are far beyond transistors. I guarantee you, nobody on the set knows what a fucking transistor is. There was 2 things that were invented in the 1950s that transformed the world. If you guys go back and watch older movies before the 1950s, it's like giant gears. When you go watch 2001 Space Odyssey, you can see how HAL is this giant computer because they hadn't invented transistors yet. That's why we can have tiny iPhones and we don't have to have a giant room for a supercomputer. They are in the fucking future. They're in a galaxy far, far away. Why the fuck are there little gear shifts? No, it would be all the tiny circuitry. Like, look at your motherboard on a computer, which I am very familiar with now. Look at all the tiny little gadgets. There's no gears. Like, what is this? It's so stupid. And also, all of those fucking gears would have melted.
But
you see how much it heated up.
100%. But also, too, if let's say there were 2 halves of this ball, right? Let's just paint a picture here. Let's say there were 2 halves of this ball. If you were to put that ball back together, there would be a hole in the middle of it, wouldn't there? You know what I mean? Like
lightsabers don't do damage once you remove them.
The lightsaber stabs right through. It would have melted the hole at least that it makes, heated up the rest of it, and maybe cracked into 2, right? Like it did. But like at least when she's holding one half of it, doing a psychometry thing, which we'll get to, this episode infuriated me. It made me so fucking angry because they've just made they've put such a small amount of importance on so many different elements of the lore and so many different elements of actual Star Wars. But if you were to put the 2 halves back together, there should be a hole in the middle of it. Yeah. But there's not. There's not. Anyway, so Hera shows up. Jason wants to come out of the ship. And, that's right. She sees Huyang, right? And he's like, they should have stayed together. I told them to stay together.
How long was he standing there for?
I don't know. But last time we saw him, he was actually on the ship, which was hiding in the forest. So he must have just quickly ran to this spot while Hera was landing. Anyway, like those little things, those little cut edits and stuff like that they do, like in regards to this, like that is essentially a nitpick, but nitpicks can be legitimate criticisms. Those people that say, oh, you're just nitpicking. Well, yeah, I am, but it's legitimate. Like you don't have a counter argument. You're just telling me that I'm nitpicking. So Huyang's like, oh, they left. They didn't stay together. So then we find Ahsoka in like, yes, this has to be the world between worlds. But the way that it looks, it has to be that. But again,
what else could it be? I mean, they've clearly gone to the effort of designing something that looks like it did in the animated series. So if this isn't the world between worlds, what was the point of doing it looking like this?
The only other thing that I think that it could be, did you watch the Rebels? Did you watch the Clone Wars, Grant?
Yeah.
Okay. So you remember when they do go to Mortis? Anna, do you remember when they go to Mortis? Do you remember what happens on Mortis?
No.
Did we lose Anna again? She looks frozen again. Nobody sits there like this for that long. So on Mortis, the sister dies, but the sister sacrifices herself to save Ahsoka. Maybe there's an element of that that's bringing her to this place. But again, are we actually going like
nothing's been explained previous to that. That's the whole point. I think the fact of the matter is you're using too much actual lore to do it. This show hasn't done any of that.
But see, this is the other thing too, is like I'm a stickler for using headcanon. I don't think headcanon's a thing, right? And here I am essentially using my own explanation, my own headcanon to try and explain what's actually going on here. And I don't.
They are really far apart as well. I just realized how different it is in that previous shot. They were all much closer, and now they're like so far apart.
Yeah, I don't. Again, the little things like that don't bother me that much.
No, it doesn't bother me. It's just something I just noticed. It's just like, okay.
So basically, it seems like, yeah, that's right, Anna. See if you can troubleshoot your problem and get back in here when you can. Headcanon is for fan fiction. 100% agree. 100% agree.
Like the whole point of this thing, like Anakin didn't seem like Anakin. And if it is Anakin, what Anakin? Where? Like what point in time? Like that's the thing. Like, is he supposed to be essentially like Force Ghost Anakin? Like because he seems to have Force.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. We got you.
I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm back. Okay, yes, Mortis. It's with the three, like the chick, the old dude, and like the Inquisitor guy.
Yeah. So do you remember what happens when the sister sacrifices herself to save Ahsoka?
I remember more so what happens with Anakin, not more so with Ahsoka. Like I remember the whole like Anakin, and it's like, well, we all know what's going to happen with Anakin. So
yeah.
Don't spoil it. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So Ahsoka effectively dies on Mortis. The brother, I think, kills her because he turns her to the dark side, and she becomes dark, and she fights Obi-Wan and Anakin. But I think the brother is the one that kills her. I can't remember exactly. But the sister, the light side, the sister sacrifices herself to save Ahsoka, and that's when you get that owl that follows her around, which is essentially the sister, right? Apparently. So maybe the sister has pulled her into the world between worlds somehow. I don't know. Maybe this is more something to do with the Mortis side of things than it is in regards to the world between worlds. I don't know. But this is the thing. Are we going to get any explanation? Are we going to get any answers from the people creating it? Not from the headcanon retards out there. I don't want any of your headcanon. She's gone again. I don't want any of your headcanon. I want it. Well, it should be explained through the show. It shouldn't even have to be that Dave Filoni has to sit on a couch with somebody and they ask him the question, like, what's going on here? It should be explained. It should actually make some sense when you're actually watching it.
Yeah,
but this is the thing. Nobody's. But this is the thing. Hold on, Grant. This is the thing. Nobody out there is asking the question of where are they? How are they there? What actually is going on? What actually happened? You know why they're not asking that question? Because they get to see Hayden Christensen on the screen. And all they have to do is, and we're all okay. That's all that matters. It's the best Star Wars we've ever seen, although you've got no explanation for what's going on. You read some of the Twitter threads out there and it's like, oh, but what if this and what if that? It's like, yeah, what if this? What if that? Who's going to actually answer that question and give us an indication, a direct answer on what this actually is and how this is actually working?
There's one more question you forgot to ask. Where are the portals?
Well, that's right too. Like, I actually thought that, okay, so somehow maybe Anakin made it into the world between worlds during like the Clone Wars or close to Revenge of the Sith or something like that. And maybe as Ahsoka was falling, he decided to pull her through a portal. There's no portals. But see, the world between worlds is this mystical universe that Dave Filoni created that, again, doesn't really make any sense. People think that they can use the world between worlds to retcon the sequels. People want to say that it's time travel. People want to say that it does this. People want to say that it does that. We've got no actual answers. Now, I will say that the Force, for a very long time, was a little bit aloof, right? We don't really know exactly how the Force works. We don't, like, as time's gone by, yes, we get these smaller explanations and little bits, little tidbits and stuff like this, but it's the Mortis son. Well, I don't know if it is. I don't know. Like, are you saying Anakin's the Mortis son? Fucking StreamYard. What the fuck is going on, StreamYard? Hey, Anna, reboot everything. Just reset your entire computer, even maybe your internet router.
And also if when you're in there, try not to open new tabs, because I had an issue the other day with StreamYards. Whenever I was on another tab, if we're watching a video, the video would just go black.
Yeah, well, I've been having trouble with StreamYard as well, and I noticed that Gary the other night was having trouble with StreamYard too. So there's a few issues going on with StreamYard. StreamYard, fix your shit.
Wait, what? The Mortis son's dead anyway, so.
Yes, that's right. The Mortis son is dead, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, try on your phone and jump in while you're resetting all your stuff. So there you go. Let me just hit this from Mike Hill. He says for 5, if it follows Ahsoka around then, why was it hovering over Vader at the end of season 7?
I don't remember that.
Oh, are you saying once they've crashed the ship and like in the snow? I think I do remember that, the owl thing. I don't know, Mike. Like, this is the thing that this is Dave Filoni's storytelling, but he doesn't actually tell a story. He just gives you things that you want to see on the screen, just like this episode, and hopes for the best.
Yeah.
But yes, you are correct. That the owl thing, I believe, was hovering over Vader at the end of season 7 of the Clone Wars.
I don't remember
that. Where's helicopter lightsabers? Yeah, where are they? Where are they?
When she was fallen, she could have used that.
I clapped. Hey, okay. I got to make this. I got to make this very clear, and I seem to have to do this constantly with Disney Star Wars. If you like it, I can only the best thing that I can say without trying to sound rude is good for you. Good for you. This isn't my Star Wars. And then people want to make the argument, well then why are you watching it? Stop watching it and let us just enjoy it. Well, nothing that I say should stop your enjoyment of it, right? Unless what I'm saying actually starts to resonate with you, right? And actually you start to think, oh, okay, maybe he's got a point there. And that's the only, like, to me, when people say, oh, you're destroying my enjoyment of it, well, then I must have a point. It's the only thing that I can say. I must have a point then. If you're enjoying it, good for you. More power to you. I can't sit there and enjoy this because it's not Star Wars. Like,
I wish I could, Rhino. Like I genuinely wish I could look at these episodes and go, you know what, Rhino, you're wrong. This was so great, and be able to explain to you why I like it. I just the weird thing about it, I don't want to hate Star Wars, but I can't even like it at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard because we still got that mentality. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get maybe this is the episode that turns it around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's.
Well, I'm not even at that point, Grant. Like, there's no turning the corner for Disney Star Wars. There isn't.
No,
there isn't.
I know
Damage,
there's not, but there's that 1% in my head that's just gone, well, maybe.
The damage is done. The damage is done. Now, I can sit there and objectively look at something like The Bad Batch, right? Now, I know I think it's Blake, gives me shit on this all the time. In The Bad Batch, the last season of The Bad Batch, I think there were 2, maybe 3 episodes that were actually good storytelling. Now, they fit in Disney's canon, which is bullshit, and I don't like it, and I think Disney canon is crap, right? But they were at least able to tell a story. They were at least able to give some character development. They were at least able to give me some sort of emotion out of it, right? And I can sit there and I can say that these episodes were decent, but they fit into Disney's canon, which is bullshit. So anyway, so apparently, like, okay, I view all of this. This is how I took what was going on here. This is all in Ahsoka's head. It's gotta be. I don't see how else this takes place, because she is just floating in the water, in these crashing waves against the rocks. I don't know how she fell like down the cliff right near where all those rocks were, but ended up out in the middle of the ocean when, you know, the waves push her towards the rocks, not away from the rocks. Like, those are nitpicks, but it's still a legitimate fucking criticism, I think. But like, to me, this is all in her head. So by the end of this, Ahsoka has taught herself a lesson. I definitely think there's an element of Ahsoka confronting her fear of becoming dark, like embracing the dark side, like Anakin, I guess. So there is probably a little bit of an element of that in this flashback, in this whatever this is. But Anakin basically says to her, I've got one last thing to teach you, live or die. It's like, that's a bit of a lame lesson, to be honest with you. It's either you choose to live or you choose to die in this moment because you're drowning. And I don't really know what it was, but it doesn't matter because you got Anakin.
Tell me what's going on.
Now, at that point, I was like, ask the question, like, where am I, Ahsoka? Like, what's going on? And she asked the question, what's going on? But we don't really get an answer.
I'm here to finish your training.
It's a little late for that.
I better not play too much. The last time I did, the stream got completely blocked, and I don't really want to get the stream blocked.
Sorry, buddy, I'm back now.
No, that's right. I don't know.
All right. What's the lesson, Master?
Live?
So she bounces between calling him Master and Anakin. Like, does she think it's him, or does she think it's like that's what I'm trying to. She asked one question like, "Oh, sort of, what's going on?" You don't get an explanation. She's like, "That's good for me."
I don't know. And this is the thing. Like I said, they based on a lot of the reactions out there, we don't need an explanation. The creator of this show does not feel that it's necessary to actually explain what actually happened.
Because this is going to be a pivotal point in her story.
Well,
Because
it's also a pivotal point in actually explaining what's going on, because once this actually happens and we cut back to, hang on a second, and we cut back to this bit, right? If it's in Ahsoka's head, first of all, how can Jason hear it?
I mean, this is what I would say about that. They have established in the past that the Force manifests itself differently in different people when it comes to abilities. Unlike Ahsoka, most people don't have every fucking ability on the planet. Some specialize. Maybe he can hear thoughts or something like that, and that's a new thing that they're bringing in, where he can see people's dreams. I don't know. This is a headcanon sort of response, but that's essentially what this series has become.
Yeah.
So it's either it's a physical place and he can hear it, and somehow Kanan's magical jizz makes Hera hear it as well.
Yeah.
Which they should actually that should be a thing. You should be storing up a lot of Jedi semen and then giving out to soldiers, because like
I've been saying that Kanan fucked the Force into Hera.
Like, I mean, like legitimately, if she can hear it based purely and simply on the fact that she took a lightsaber or two, but like, yeah, maybe that's what it is. Like, I don't understand, because it's either a real place and she's actually there, then where's her body? or he's hearing her thoughts, which was never. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe it manifests differently with different people, so I don't know.
But see, that's the thing. It used to manifest differently with different people. There were some Jedi that were more or less proficient in certain abilities than others, right? Like, for example, in the Rebels series, Ezra was actually able to speak with animals through the Force.
Also
Kanan
wolves.
did not have that ability, right? You've got the psychometry, right? Which Ahsoka has now used after this episode. Later on in this episode, Ahsoka has now used psychometry twice, right? Once when
She used
Sabine
it-
got stabbed, and she went back to Sabine's house while Sabine was still being recovered in episode 2. And in this episode, she uses psychometry to figure out what happened with this map and where they've actually gone. Right?
Didn't she use the first episode when she went to the temple thingy?
No,
Am
she
I
didn't
mixing
use
that?
no,
Yeah.
she didn't use
Okay.
psychometry there. She just turned some pieces until they locked into place, making the puzzle really easy to figure out.
She's a wizard.
Yeah. But this is the thing. Like, my understanding is in the entire time that there were thousands of Jedi in the galaxy, there was only about 5 to 10 of them that were actually able to use psychometry, Quinlan Vos being one of them, right? But Ahsoka's just now got all the abilities. She is all the Jedi. Okay, so first of all, you've got Jedi being a Jedi, which is special from not being a Jedi, which they've removed because as long as you concentrate hard enough and hopefully you fart out some Force ability, you can actually use the Force. Anyone can now use the Force if you concentrate hard enough. And people want to use that argument of George Lucas saying that everybody's got the Force. Well, I think what he was saying in that moment was that
Not
the Force
Force-sensitive.
flows through. That's right. The Force flows through everyone. The Force is in everyone. But not everybody can wield the Force. It's not that easy. And no matter how hard you concentrate, it doesn't mean that you can just use the Force, even if you concentrate at your highest level, right? Otherwise, everybody would have just been able to wield some sort of Force ability. So people want to use that argument. So not only are Jedi no longer special because everybody can wield the Force, but now on top of that, every Jedi has every ability. It's
No, well,
it's so stupid.
so she hasn't communicated with any Force Ghost yet, so we don't know about that ability, which she'll probably have and be able to master.
Well, who knows? This could be a Force ghost of Anakin that's not a ghost. I don't know. This is the thing. Nobody
But
actually knows. We've got no explanation.
It doesn't make sense if this was him trying to teach her lessons about wanting to survive. Why it doesn't make sense that Anakin being back to being Anakin, after killing the Emperor and everything. Why he would show her that way, and why would he not warn her about the dangers to come? Like
That's
what I'm
right.
saying.
If it is the
It's not-
cosmic
it
Force,
can't be a Force ghost. It just doesn't. Like, I mean, that makes less sense.
well, this is the thing. Like, I'm trying to say that it's all in Ahsoka's head, but then there has been a good point made out there of how can he say, like, when she says, "I will not fight you," and he goes, "I've heard that before." Where has he heard that before? Well, it was with Luke. Ahsoka wasn't with Luke. If it's in Ahsoka's head, then he can only.
You're assuming they're using their canon correctly. That's your first mistake. Remember, just because we know, they're going to automatically assume that every single character knows. Look at how many characters know Anakin was Darth Vader.
Well, that's true. That's true. Like, okay, I want to set the record straight too. Last week when I said, Balin knowing who Vader was, I was incorrect in my statement in saying that there were only 2 people in the galaxy that knew. There was actually 5 people in the galaxy that knew. There was Vader himself, or Anakin, depending on how you want to reference him. There was Palpatine. There was Yoda. There was Obi-Wan. Later on, there was Luke, but I don't count that one in this 5. And there was Bail Organa. Now, Bail Organa got told by Obi-Wan that he'd killed Anakin, right? So it's because he's still named Vader moving forward, but he's in the suit, and the only other time that Bail Organa sees Vader is in the suit. He assumes that it's Anakin. He doesn't explicitly know that it's Anakin, but of course he assumes that it's Anakin moving forward from there. Let me just get this from JD. How you doing? For $5, he goes, "Where does Star Wars even go over the next 10 years? Canon is screwed up." I couldn't agree more. Nothing makes sense. Those stupid whales and on. What's next?
Distant past. They're going to go to the distant past and ruin absolutely everything.
Well, this is the thing. They probably are. Like, the next thing that we've got coming up is Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte, right? Which is all a part of the High Republic that nobody gives a fuck about. Look, over the next 10 years, if we keep on this trajectory with Star Wars will be made for pronoun people. It will be made for seal clappers. It will be made for people that, I don't like saying this because I think that he does, but or think that they do, but people that don't give a fuck about the lore. They just want to see Star Wars reference itself, and that's all that they're happy with. At the end of the day, I honestly, I don't know where we go from
Hello.
here.
Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I don't know what's going on, but when I turn off my camera, it works. So
All right.
I did click the button for it to turn on and it just hasn't yet. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I missed everything.
That's right. Did you reset your router?
I
By
did.
chance? Yeah,
I
okay.
did. I reset everything. I restarted my computer.
Did you swear at it?
I think it's just StreamYards.
Yeah, I think
None of the other sites on my computer are messing up.
What browser are you using?
I have Chrome and I have Brave. Brave, it wouldn't load at all, and Chrome, it is loading. So I just jumped on whichever one would work.
Yep.
Yeah, fair enough. That's all right.
So yeah, we're discussing how they should be gathering. Oh.
And she's gone. She's here. She's gone. Fucking hell.
I'll save the joke for later.
Yeah. Thank you, JD. I appreciate that. Look, I know there are people out there that are saying that they should shelve Star Wars for 10 years. I think that they could shelve it for 10 years, bring it back in 10 years' time, and it'd still be just as bad. Like, the problem is the damage is done. So the only way to get rid of the damage that they've done is to retcon. It all. You there, Anna?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Okay. Good.
All right, hopefully.
Hopefully it stays this way. I'm not touching anything, so
Yeah, we were discussing someone should go into the business of collecting all the Jedi semen that's in the universe and giving it to troopers so they all become force sensitive.
Well,
yeah.
I want to ask Anna. So, and there's another super chat there. Sorry, I'll get that in a second. So how like you've noticed that Ahsoka can use your camera's working? Yay!
Can I see me moving?
So in this series, we've been told that anyone can basically be a Jedi or anyone can use Force abilities.
Of course.
Because everyone's got the Force. And on top of that, we've now got the fact that Ahsoka can use all the Force abilities. She can talk to animals. She can talk to the space whales. She can use psychometry. She can basically do whatever is necessary. How do you feel about that? Based on what's that?
I think it's retarded. There's certain people that have certain abilities. So Anakin could see into the future, right? Or he had dreams of the future. Not every Jedi can do that. Yoda even says that to him when they're in the little meditation room in Revenge of the Sith. And so you think if every single Jedi had all of these abilities, do you think the Emperor would have been able to take over? No. Do you
No
think
way.
if if Obi-Wan, if anyone on the Jedi Council, if you think Mace Windu could see into the future, do you think that any of this shit would have happened? Absolutely not. Do you
He
think
definitely wouldn't have stood near a window, that's for sure.
something? Well, no. Do you think if every single one of them, if they could just touch something and get the essence of what happened, and no, none of this shit would have happened. That's why the plot with Palpatine was kept so freaking secret and out of everyone's reach, so nobody could do anything. And when people did find out about it, they usually died. Like that's what happened to Fives. Count Dooku was, telling Obi-Wan on Geonosis, which everyone gets mad at me when I say that the Clone Wars or Attack of the Clones is my favorite prequel movie, because it is, because of the scene with Obi-Wan and Christopher Lee where he's like, hey, like the master of the Sith took over everything. If Obi-Wan would have just played along for 5 minutes, Count Dooku would have told Obi-Wan everything that happened. He's like, yeah, then he had that, because so Luke with Vader, because he had that bond with Vader because Vader's his father. So the bad guy has some kind of weird bond with Obi-Wan because it's like, oh, my apprentice trained you, so I'm kind of like your grandfather. Obi-Wan should have just played along, be like, oh, the bad guy has some kind of sentimental feelings towards me and he's willing to tell me all of their plans. Why don't I play along for 5 fucking minutes, and just that way I could find out who the bad guy is, the main bad guy that apparently is running everything, and maybe find out all this stuff so that way Anakin doesn't go to the dark side and turn into Darth Vader. Maybe I should find that out. And you know what? If Obi-Wan could see into the future and see that Anakin became Darth Vader, maybe he would have done things a little bit differently. Maybe he'd be like, hey, maybe I shouldn't leave Anakin alone on this planet with the super hot senator that he's totally into and has been fantasizing for the past 10 years. Maybe I shouldn't do that. But no, everyone has everything. You have all the abilities and you have all the abilities. Do you think Anakin would have done things a little bit differently in the arena if he could talk to fucking animals? Of course he would. This is so stupid. But it's Dave Filoni.
Well, Anakin does sort of talk to, because he talks to the rhino thing, right?
He calms, but he's not
calms it down. No, that's true, because it goes crazy after he jumps on its back.
Yeah, he wasn't riding it around as if he was controlling it.
Yeah, no, that's true. I just got to hit this really quickly. Mike Hill for 5 says, did Uncle Owen know as well about Anakin? I don't think so.
I think he thought that he died. Like everyone.
I think he thought that he died because Obi-Wan didn't know that Vader was still alive until after a year on Tatooine. If you read in the EU, Obi-Wan sees Darth Vader hunted down a band of Jedi on Kashyyyk a year after the events of Revenge of the Sith. So, excuse me. Oh, I've got this squeak. Obi-Wan thinks that he killed Anakin on Mustafar for an entire year after the events of Revenge of the Sith. So, the Reek, that's right.
But don't worry, he won't make that mistake again.
He makes it twice. So I've got to talk about this scene here. So Jason says that he can hear something on the waves, on the water, and Hera's like, not now, and then goes back and forward, and he's like, listen, you can hear it. And then Hera decides to close her eyes as well, if I can get to a shot of Hera closing her. No.
Yeah, I know. It took me forever to get it to. Yeah, he extends his powers to his mom, which doesn't make any
sense. Now, this is the thing. This is how people are justifying it, right? So I started saying that Hera's concentrating hard enough that she's now actually embracing her Force abilities, because that's how Ahsoka's explained that the Force works in this series. However, a lot of people are saying, no, it's the connection between son and mother, that he is actually able to project these sounds and these feelings over to Hera, which, again, like Anna said, is completely fucking stupid. Now, the example that I want to throw out there is if you put Anakin and Shmi Skywalker in the exact same situation, in the exact same position that these two are in, are you telling me that Anakin would be able to project those feelings and sounds to Shmi? Is that how the Force works now? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
I didn't get any of that. I didn't get any indication that he was extending his power. He's basically saying, "Look, do it." She closes her eyes. She looks like she's concentrating more.
Yeah,
and then hears it.
And then she hears it, and she opens her eyes, and she's like, "Oh my god, I hear that. I hear the lightsabers." It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
I don't
And
have an
this is the
issue. I
thing.
don't have an issue with Jace having some sort of latent ability that he's probably learning to control, because if he does have,
His dad
if
was
he's-
a Jedi,
yeah,
so that's like
yeah.
the one thing that I think everyone is unanimously. It makes sense that he, out of everyone on this show, it makes sense for him to have powers.
and the fact that he's been constantly abandoned means he's got a lot of time to himself to potentially hear and listen to things. So I can understand that. But her, I don't get it. As I said, magic semen.
But the other
Maybe
thing
that's
too,
what happened to Shmi.
are we coming through okay? Can you just
No,
check
you
the
guys are
stream?
pretty choppy. It's choppy even for me.
Oh, okay.
I did want
I
to
don't-
show you guys this. So I actually bought this. We'll see if my screen can share. So this came out like over a year ago, and I bought it because I was like, "Oh, that's unique. I've never seen a live action Anakin in the Clone Wars getup, and I like his Clone Wars getup." So I bought this, and then I was like, "Oh, this looks really fucking familiar now." Almost as if they knew about all of this years in advance.
Mm.
And so they have this action figure of Anakin for Hot Toys. And oh my gosh, it's live action Anakin, but it is a Clone Wars getup. It's not loading, but so I bought this like a couple years ago. But so I was like, the toys will always give away spoilers, guys.
Mm.
And
Yep.
based on this, they have Ahsoka of this, where it's live action, but it's Clone Wars, and they have Obi-Wan.
Yeah, okay.
So
fuck off.
just saying, I'll see if I can pull up that action figure if it loads.
They'll bring Obi-Wan into it.
Mhm.
There was another point that I wanted to make on this. People are also trying to use the justification that Luke and Vader were actually able to speak to each other in Empire Strikes Back across space and time, when they're communicating from the Falcon.
You mean
after
one is on a ship right here and the other one is on a ship right here?
Yeah, people are trying to use that to justify what's going on here as well. And it's like you guys and your headcanon bullshit explanations is just, it's beyond a joke. It's beyond a joke. It's just everything in these people's heads. They decide to try and make it make sense so that they can sit there and enjoy the nostalgia. And it's okay. Because this episode really is a nothing burger episode. Ahsoka teaches herself a lesson. Oh, I remember the other point that I wanted to make, but let me show this.
It's even the same live action Ahsoka chick.
Yeah.
I thought it was like her face doesn't look like the cartoon in here, and it's like, okay, they're trying to make it look like action. So in the live action one, though, her Laku is too short, but so they made it that. But it's that actress's face that's in the flashbacks.
Yeah.
So they knew years ago, mofos. Okay, I'm still trying to find Obi-Wan. Give me a minute.
The other point that I wanted to make is, again, we don't exactly know where it is that Ahsoka is. So if it is, again, I just want to make this point. If it is in Ahsoka's head, then how can Jason hear it?
Dark side.
Like there's so many questions that aren't answered and that I don't think will get answered. Like we just move on from this because, again, they don't need to explain anything. It's kind of like, and I've made this point a million times, it's a bit like tracking fobs. They don't need to explain how tracking fobs work because nobody's asking the question of how do they work. What is it tracking? What's the receiver?
You're just supposed to consume. Don't ask questions, just consume.
Yeah.
This is something that bothers me. It's like you fuckers can scream at the top of your lungs on you want to know every single grain of salt that is in your McDonald's cheeseburger or you guys want to know all of this. But when it comes to shows, every other show, it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to point out plot holes. But when it comes to Disney Star Wars, you are the embodiment of Satan if you have any kind of criticism or if you ask any questions or point anything out. It's ridiculous. It's and they're like, well, you're not a real Star Wars fan, or oh, you're just toxic. It's like, oh, okay, but you're allowed to ask what kind of food, like what's in your food, but I'm not allowed to ask how certain things that don't make any sense work. It's kind of mind-blowing.
I just don't get why they don't want something better.
I know.
Why is it so easy to settle for mediocrity?
Because they're weird.
Yeah, it is. So it cuts back to Anakin, and so the thing that I found funny with this was like Ahsoka basically taunting.
You don't have much left to offer.
You don't have much left to offer. Like it's almost like, you know, he's there trying to apparently teach her a lesson about either living or dying, fighting or dying. And I didn't really understand this dynamic here. Looks like you don't have much left to offer. Why? Because you beat him in your mind. Okay, well done. And then he cuts the floor away, and she wakes up, and she's in the Clone Wars. Right, the first battle of, I think this is the Battle of Geonosis, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's the early helmets for the stormtroopers, like from the movie.
Yeah, but this is the opening battle. This is on Geonosis, where if you watch the Attack of the Clones, Ahsoka wasn't there. Well, if you actually look at when she got introduced into the Clone Wars, like with that movie that they came out with, that opening movie to the Clone Wars animated stuff, Ahsoka wasn't at the Battle of Geonosis, but
no, she's the one they're gonna go and get Jabba's baby. But guys, we might Kenobi, considering everything else they've had the action figures for. So next time they say, oh, there's gonna be an episode in theaters, guys, look at it.
Why has he got a stormtrooper helmet?
I don't know. I really don't. He just holds it.
It's a little weird.
It's not loading.
Okay.
I'll put the link.
So is he gonna appear as a stormtrooper in this, or a sandtrooper? Like what? Maybe
he picked up somebody's helmet that died. I put it in the chat because it's not loading the rest of the photos, but I thought it was cool when they released them. I was like, wow, that's really unique. I've never seen that before. So I got Anakin. I didn't buy Ahsoka because she looked weird. And then I don't know if I bought Obi-Wan or not, but I never buy new Star Wars stuff. But for those that are screaming at me in the chat, my plan is with all the hot toys that I buy is to repaint their faces on my art channel and make them better because their jobs aren't that great. So I'm getting content out of it and exploring my artistic abilities. So before you guys get all mad at me, that's why I'm doing it. But yeah, I
agree with that.
Cool. So, and then now it's here. So we already saw Anakin. We saw Ahsoka. Maybe we'll see Obi-Wan.
Maybe.
You convinced me. And I think what they're doing here, Rhino, is on purpose. We have no idea where this is because this is just on a sound stage. There is zero features to tell you what planet it is, where it is.
Well, it looks like Geonosis when the Federation ship crashes back into the thing and all the dust flies up.
But I mean, that could have happened anywhere.
Yeah. But see, okay, this is the other thing too that I also want to point out is that this is still older Ahsoka's consciousness in young Ahsoka.
But acting like young Ahsoka.
Like that's how I picked up on this.
Yeah, it's basically like she has all of the knowledge she has now, but she's reliving the past.
Yeah.
And not anything different.
Maybe her brain's going skew because she's been underwater for 12 hours.
Maybe. Yeah, okay. If there's one good thing that I can say is, okay, it was nice to see it.
That's the thing. It's like, oh yeah, that was cool, but you guys could have done something better. I didn't need to see something that already happened. You could show me something else and expand upon it. We don't need to see it done over again. We already got the story. Instead of wasting your money on stuff that's already happened just so we can see it, do something better, do something new. That's one of the things that George Lucas complained about with the sequels. He said there's nothing new in every single movie. He introduced something new. In Empire Strikes Back, we get to see Obi-Wan as a Force ghost, but he's not going, it's not Luke having flashbacks back to Tatooine or on the Millennium Falcon. It's Obi-Wan doing something new with him. It could be where Anakin's Force ghost is coming to speak to Ahsoka to help her. That would have been cool. And it would have been a reflection of what happened in the original trilogy. And Anakin, as a Force ghost, being like, Ahsoka, remember this. And because maybe Ahsoka has more training than Luke did at the point when Luke was seeing Obi-Wan's ghost. And now Anakin he learned how to become a Force ghost. And because Obi-Wan, Yoda, Qui-Gon, all of them have done all of this training of their own as being a Force ghost. Maybe Anakin has more abilities as a Force ghost to have Ahsoka see visions. And he's, as a Force ghost, having Ahsoka, hey, remember this? Okay, here's a lesson. And that would be cool to incorporate Hayden Christensen back into this show and doing something brand new as a Force ghost and helping Ahsoka, because she's obviously still lost, even though she's, 40 or 50? It's weird.
100 years old.
Yeah, I
See,
know.
I still don't understand the lesson. The lesson that is being taught here is so shallow.
I'll tell you what the lesson is. It's to get her to smile. Brie Larson's arch nemesis, because she hasn't smiled once this entire show, and after this lesson, she starts smiling. So
well, she gets a new outfit. That makes any woman smile. So.
Well, you know what? Disney did. They became what they hated, which is a smiling, happy woman.
Yeah.
And also, so lightsabers don't glow anymore like they did in Obi-Wan? Where's the light reflection? Where's nothing? Like, they can't even keep, like...
Lightsabers are just weird now. I don't know. Let me hit this really quickly. Man, my StreamYard is playing up again all of a sudden. Apparently, the Disney shills had forgotten we already had gotten live-action Clone Wars during the prequel trilogy. Yes.
It's almost like there was a movie based around it.
Yeah. Well, we got to see the beginning of the Clone Wars, and we essentially got to see the end of the Clone Wars. And then the animated stuff is all in between. And
people's response to this young girl has been very creepy.
Whoa, are they all into her?
Oh,
yeah.
I got asked the question. It's nice to see what. It was nice to see, I guess, the nostalgia. It's just nostalgia. Like seeing Anakin as Anakin in this moment. Okay, it was nice to see it. But it didn't mean anything. It didn't do anything. It didn't extend anything to the story. And this is why it is just member berries. This is why it is just jangling keys. Because it didn't... again, we don't know what's going on here. Nobody can definitively answer what we're actually seeing here. What's actually going on here. You know, this was a nice little moment. You know, when Ahsoka sits down and touches... But this is the thing, to have little nice moments like this that at the end of the day don't mean anything, doesn't do anything. It doesn't bring anything to the story.
Okay, like is this her remembering this, or is this her reliving it?
I don't know.
Remembering. Or reliving, I don't know. Like, nothing is different. The only thing, and I said this in my review, the only thing that was cool about this episode was in a few seconds when Anakin walks off to fight and it flickers between Anakin and Vader. And I was like, that's cool. But also, it's Dave Filoni ripping it off again, because that's a callback to the poster for The Phantom Menace with little Anakin and his shadow is reflecting on his house, and it's Darth Vader. Yep. But that was cool to see. I didn't need to see it, but it was cool to see.
Don't worry, you'll see it again.
No, yeah, right. It's like this part, yeah.
It's such a harsh fade, though, because it's clearly two different two different shots in two different locations. Like the stuff on the side, the lighting, everything changes. It's just a really weird shot.
I
And
think
also,
special effects.
it's only 5% of the screen that essentially that change. Like that's literally all these people going on about like it's the greatest fucking bit of cinematography ever. There's one tiny little section that changes. Everything else is just smoke.
But that's the thing. It's not even the best special effects. There's guys on YouTube that can do better than this.
I would do better than that.
I know. It's like it's really not that difficult, but they have to be laundering money because where the fuck are the millions of dollars going into?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Blown his pocket.
I'm very against. I hate the IRS. I hate them. I think that they should be Thanos snaps out of existence. But I think that the IRS should take a hard fucking look at Disney and find out where the fuck all of this money is going.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is no way this is costing millions of dollars.
100%.
Where is it? If it's costing millions of dollars, it should be a million fucking times better. Look at the Joker, the movie, the full-length feature movie featuring Joaquin Phoenix. That movie was made with a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
They're spending millions on every single episode, and you can see the vast difference in quality and the amount that they were able to get done in the Joker versus this. There is no
Oppenheimer was done in half the budget of this. Oppenheimer was made with half the budget of this.
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. They're laundering money. There's no way that this is costing as much as they're claiming. The IRS should really take a look at it.
Is that kid Ezra? No, that kid is Jason Syndulla. That's
why does he have his dad's last name?
What's that?
He should have, or why doesn't he have his dad's last name? Anakin Skywalker had his dad's last, or excuse me, Luke Skywalker had his dad's last name. Leia had her adopted father's last name.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't take their mom's last name. He should have had Jarrus. His last name should be Jason Jarrus.
Yeah.
Jason Sabula. Did I say that right?
No, Syndulla.
Sabula, whatever. Sabulba.
Sebulba. I also want to point out that, when the hyperspace ring left and some of the X-Wings sort of got smashed up and everything, there was the ghost left and there was 2 X-Wings. Just 2.
I thought
In this, there's 3 X-Wings like flying over. I know it's another nitpick, but they got an extra X-Wing reinforcement.
Oh, now you're good at math, Rhino. I see how it is.
Yeah. So Jason tells her exactly where to look because Chopper apparently picked up something on his scanners and they go exactly there and they've got to get really low. So they go real low. It cuts back. Now we're seeing the Siege of Mandalore. Now, this was another thing too, is it's funny, between the beginning of the Clone Wars and the Siege of Mandalore, there was about, you noticed that too? Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't the only one that actually noticed that because it's again, them just being stupid with their editing and not paying attention and not caring as far as I'm concerned. But so between the beginning of the Clone Wars and the Siege of Mandalore, there's about 3 or 4 years that have gone by, but yet Ahsoka is still the same age, or looks like the same young Ahsoka as at the beginning of the Clone Wars. I don't know if anybody else noticed that. Oh, you get to see Captain Rex. And Ahsoka's like, what if I don't want to fight? And Anakin says, well, then you'll die. And that's pretty much the lesson. Like, this lesson is just it's again, like I sort of said, it's a pointless lesson. There's another sort of nice shot, I guess. The
problem with the lessons is they're trying to be clever and creative, but you can only be as smart as the person writing it, and he's not. That's the problem.
Yeah. See, she doesn't look any older than she did at the beginning of the Clone Wars.
And they don't want to get new actress.
Yeah. But they could have aged her up a little bit. They've got the technology to be able to do it. They could have at least done it with that younger actress.
Well, also, did you know how they covered her up in the younger version? That version, she should have been wearing her tube top. and her
Yeah.
skirt, or the one where it has the little boob window, which they didn't. They're like, oh no, we're just going to completely cover you up, because in the later season she was more covered up. But the first time you see Ahsoka, which is kind of weird because she is super young and she's literally just wearing a tube top, and it's like, oh, that's great protection for you if you're going to go fight with fucking lightsabers. But
and also I think that the actress that played younger, so is she getting typecast as playing people with weird skin? Because that's Thanos' daughter.
Yeah, no,
that's Gamora.
Same
actress.
Same actress, yeah. And then
maybe
we
she's
get this.
the only kid that they can get to sit in prosthetics for 6 hours.
Maybe.
Her parents must be stunt doubles or something.
Then yeah.
Because
Then you get another.
You can get most kids that age to sit there for that long.
So then you get another one of those flashes. Whoa. And like this is what makes me think that it is in Ahsoka's head, because if this is truly like prime Anakin or prime Vader, no suit, dark side, there's no way Ahsoka's beating him.
Filled with midichlorians.
And I also find it's funny, like he disarms her, and he's fully, like, I will say Hayden Christensen really hasn't lost his ability to wield and spin a lightsaber and stuff like that. But as soon as he disarms her, he then starts moving slow again, like this sliced. Oh, now I'll turn. And we don't actually see how she takes the lightsaber out of his hand, but she does, and then maybe there's hope for you yet. And that's the lesson.
It doesn't even make, like, all she learns is how to smile. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I will say his eyes didn't look.
So people got mad at me because I was pointing out how stupid this fight sequence was, because when you're fighting someone, you're not going for their weapon. You're trying to disarm them. It's lightsabers, so you're going to cut off a limb. And that's how you get good, is if somebody is coming at you and you learn how to defend yourself. He's literally, the whole time, Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, is going for Ahsoka's lightsaber. He does this whole little spin thing, and she just stands there and watches him. And be like, he's not actually trying to kill her. I'm like, oh, Darth Vader isn't actually trying to kill. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah.
And she's the same way. It's like, that's not how they ever trained before. If you go watch, I know people don't like the prequels, but it's funny how now all of a sudden they like this, but the prequels, they're like, oh, the prequels. But if you go watch it, they're not going for each other's lightsabers. They're literally going for each other, and the other person is good enough to block them. Their choreographer is terrible.
I couldn't agree more. And then the world between worlds starts to close down, and she goes under the water, and then they find her under the water.
Like, she's dead. Plain and simple. Look, I mean,
yeah. But I also find it funny how, like, she opens her eyes, she's sort of awake under the water, and then when they get her out of the water, she's like eyes closed asleep. Like, is she just pretending now?
Oh, sorry. No, I think I made a mistake. That's a giant Bacta tank. So.
Oh, that's what it is. The entire ocean is Bacta.
Yeah.
I've
got to go pick the little one up. I'll be back in like 15 minutes.
All right. Later.
All right.
Yeah, so she opens her eyes, she says Anakin, and falls back asleep. Jason's like, they've got her. And then she wakes up in her ship. What did you think of the makeup here? Anna?
I actually liked it. I thought she looked really pretty.
I actually thought that they blended it reasonably well.
Yeah, I was like, oh, she looks actually. So if this was Sleeping Beauty or Snow White, like I said this to my review, I'm like, she looks more like Snow White here with her orange skin.
An actual Snow White. Yeah.
Like, this is one of the, like, look, she's laying there like Sleeping Beauty, and when she wakes up, she's all smiling. All of a sudden, her personality is back, which doesn't make any sense. But I think she looks better right here without the headband.
Yeah.
Like, take off the headband and she's got a personality.
Yeah.
But no, I thought she looked good.
Although, like, as soon as she wakes up and then goes outside, she's lost her personality again. And she changes her clothes. So she goes, they made her Ahsoka the White for the second time. So they retconned the end of Rebels.
Yep.
Again.
Every episode is a retcon of everything that they did before. It's so dumb. Nothing here should have happened. Also, the part where the freaking ship comes, you notice that the people that show up to yell at Hera, it's all women. They're all completely incompetent. It's like, you took over the Empire's gone. It's the New Republic now. They couldn't spare ships, so Hera had to break the rules to go help out Ahsoka, which Hera shouldn't have to answer to any of these people. They had to throw in that sideline. Oh, Organa is trying to buy us some time. Fuck that. If Leia says they can go to that planet, they don't have to buy anyone. Why are they so concerned over what Hera's doing? I know why. It's because that guy that was bitching is actually part of the Empire or whatever, and so that's why they're so concerned over what Hera is doing with her one ship and 3 other damn ships. But it's like they're bitching about all of the stuff that they have to do. It's like, yes, when a new government takes over an old government, you have to deal with currency changes. You have to worry about politics in each individual area. And this is not just like a country. It's over the span of an entire galaxy. So why the fuck are they so worried about one chick with her own ship and 3 other X-Wings? It's so stupid. And so the fact that they are like, we don't have any ships to spare, but all of a sudden now we have the ship to spare to go over to you doing something, which we know what you're doing. You're looking for Sabine and Ahsoka, which is kind of that's kind of important, but all of a sudden we didn't have the ship, and now all of a sudden we have the ship because you're in trouble. I'm like, that's not how it works. Also, all you're showing is how incompetent all of the women in this galaxy are, because it's a girl boss that shows up and she's lecturing the old Mr. Misagi man, and her pilot are like, we're strong, independent women, but we're also completely incompetent. It's all Disney knows how to do is make incompetent women. All of this is stupid. And then the space whales, the whales, guys.
We'll get to that. I do want to make a point on what you said, but let me just get this really quickly. Sorry, my StreamYard is playing up again. Cheap choreographer. Hayden is better than Rosario. Yeah, thanks, Wagon. Appreciate that. So Ahsoka comes out of the ship. She uses psychometry. Jason said that he was able to hear the lightsabers. She's walking around using her psychometry to figure out what actually happened. Now, Hera goes inside and has a conversation with Mon Mothma. Now, I want to get to this just really quickly, and I want to play a little bit of this out. Just here, let's listen to this really quickly.
No.
Do you have evidence?
Hold on.
You can't be serious.
Do you have Morgan Elsbeth in custody?
Okay, first of all, the New Republic had Morgan in custody. How did that go? What actually happened? Your capital ship, your prison ship, was infiltrated by 2 Dark Jedi, which you've got evidence of, and broke her out. First point.
No.
Do you have evidence of Imperial Remnant activity or of Grand Admiral Thrawn's return?
Okay, they might not have Grand Admiral Thrawn's return, but they definitely have evidence. The New Republic has evidence of Imperial Remnant's fucking activity.
I know.
They just fucking built a hyperdrive core on your shipping yard. In your shipping yard, they built a hyperdrive core for a ship that doesn't belong to you. And you arrested those people. This is so stupid. We've got no evidence of any of this. No, you do. The New Republic's got more evidence than they need. And they actually had that evidence before Hera even went to them to ask them to go and help in the first place. But no, we're not going to come and help. We're going to come and collect you and the fucking X-Wing pilots, and she should be court-martialed for the ones that she killed for an unauthorized mission. It's so stupid.
I know. It's
They've
like,
got all the evidence they need.
Other things to worry about. it makes this is why the remnants of the Empire is able to do what they're doing, is because of all of the incompetent fucking dumbasses that are running the New Republic. This is why Dave Filoni is not the savior of Star Wars, because he's a fucking idiot. Like, this doesn't make any. This is when you take somebody that has no idea how things run, that has no idea how to write something that's not, for little tiny children, which even I feel like little tiny children have a better idea of how to run things than Dave Filoni based on this. Because this is so fucking stupid. Like, I don't know how they want. Like, if it was. Never mind. I'm just going to go. I'm so mad.
Stupid. It is stupid. That's the thing, though. Is it doesn't make any sense. But see, this is the other thing too, is everybody out there, including fucking the big ones, Star Wars Theory, Den of Nerds, all of those people, ignore this stupid stuff because they got to see Anakin and Ahsoka. Oh my God, like, it's fucking ridiculous. It is fucking ridiculous. And Mike Hill here makes the exact point that we're making right here. What more evidence do you need to believe that something sinister is going on?
Well, exactly. Like, so here, this is what drives me crazy. So Leia should be in charge of everything because that's how it goes. Leia, Mon Mothma, I don't know who else is alive at this point or who else Disney is allowing to be alive, but that one bitchy Asian dude that I said should have been a Bothan. Okay, so it's very obvious that he is working for the Empire, and I guarantee you can clip me right now, he's going to be the traitor, right? At the end, because they're going to do that when Thrawn comes back. It's going to be this thing, like, that's why he's undermining it. That's why everything. He's the evil man, right? Because women can't do anything wrong, even though every single woman in the show has done something fundamentally wrong. But that's going to be the big thing. That's why they're so incompetent, is because none of these smart, intelligent characters are noticing the fact that, hey, we got other fucking problems that we should be focusing on. Who cares if, Hera is off doing this? It's just her own ship. She's not taking one of the New Republic ships. She's not stealing like their armada. She took her own personal ship, and a couple other guys that have X-Wings decided to join her. She didn't take an entire fleet. She asked for it and they said no, and they should be fine with her going on. It's not like they have any pressing matters for her. It's not like they're currently in the middle of a fucking war and they're like, no, you're a general, we need you here. No, what do they want her to do? What they want her to go, like, overview shipyards? No, she can go do this. She's a general. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. So this whole entire thing, and even she could take time off, which, shocking. People that don't know how the service works, like Dave fucking Filoni, don't realize that she could just be like, hey guys, I'm doing my own personal stuff. I'm going to take some time off and go do this, which she can. So can all the X-Wing guys. And she's the general, so she can approve their time off. It's so stupid. It's like infuriating how dumb this is. And people just sit there and love it. It just, your stupid seals thing. It's so fucking true, and it drives me crazy.
Yep. The seals will just clap, even though there's a lot of stupid. They should actually be asking these questions. And it's like you said earlier, Anna. As soon as you start asking even just the simplest question, it's we're the ultimate enemy. We hate Star Wars. You're just a grifter. You're just a hater. No. Explain to me how what Mon Mothma just said that I just showed you actually makes any sense. When they've got enough evidence, they should have had enough evidence when Hera asked for the fleet to come with her to help Ahsoka and Sabine out. Now, if, let's say, the fleet actually went with them, then maybe Sabine wouldn't have had to give the map back, which I think was stupid anyway, because she knows who Thrawn is. She knows how dangerous he can be, and she knows that Ezra sacrificed himself to get rid of Thrawn and save all their lives. So that's pretty stupid on her behalf to actually just give into that because she wants to see Ezra again. Like, nobody asks questions. It's like Anna said before, don't ask questions, just consume. So Ahsoka the White, look how white she is now. She doesn't even have the brown gloves anymore. She's just all white. She figures out that she can use the space whales to hopefully go to the planet or the system that Ezra is in.
Pop,
And
go back
go
real
on.
fast. Go back real fast.
To where?
Just right there. Don't move. Okay. Go back. Okay, so right here. So Peaches, I was watching this on the TV as I was like cooking. And so Peaches came inside and he was like, he thought that this was like the new Matrix movie because he only walked into this part. He's just like, what the hell is going on? And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, like he's seeing this. And then he's like, wait, is this Star Wars? And I was like, yeah, this is the Ahsoka show. And he's like, those look like the things from the Matrix. And I was like, oh my God, they do. Because at first I'm like, they obviously ripped off Star Trek because in the Next Generation there are like the space whales things and those reoccur throughout all of the Star Trek shows. So Dave Filoni, again, all he knows how to do is rip things off. So he ripped that off of Star Trek, and I think it was also in like an old. I mean, they're in lots of old sci-fi books, so it's not like the first time there's been creatures that can move through space and like space is like their natural habitat. But yeah, I'm like. They do. They look like the things from the fucking Matrix. Again,
Yeah, the Sentinels.
Yes. So that's what Peaches, who has like barely the base knowledge. He never watched the Clone Wars except for if I had it on in the background. So it's like a very base knowledge of it. And so he saw that that's immediately what he thought of. And I'm like, there's no creativity anymore. Ever since George Lucas, ever since they booted him out, it's sad. It's so sad.
Soul Assassin, first of all, where'd you get the white robes? Don't ask questions.
They're in a closet. She could have changed it with them at any time. It's not like they have replicators. This is Star Wars, not Star Trek.
Yep. And aren't you guys friends with Star Wars Theory? I don't like. I've never met the guy. I used to watch his channel when he was actually good, and now he's just a fence rider. He says that, I didn't like this. This part of this episode was boring. This was shit. I liked this and this was bad. And this is talking about, let's say, one episode of The Mandalorian or something. And he'll point out all the bad things. He'll point out all the good things and he'll still give it a 9 out of 10. And he's got a massive Dave Filoni boner.
I've met Star Wars Theory a few years ago. I was Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers took me with him when he was making his Darth Vader fan film. So it was cool to like see that and be a part of that. I wouldn't say that we're friends. I would say we're professional acquaintances. Mm-hmm. But I used to only, if I did, so I've said this plenty of times, I don't really watch YouTube. And if I do watch YouTube videos, it's because something is broken and I need it to be fixed. Or now I watch podcasts and I watch art videos. So I don't need, this is going to sound bad, I don't need to watch other people's reviews of Star Wars because I already have my own opinions of Star Wars, and I do this now for a living. So I'm like, it's work. At this point, it's work. Unless I'm going to debate someone, I'm not going to go and sit there and watch all this stuff. So if I have time to watch something, it usually has nothing to do with Star Wars or Star Trek. That's why even when I paint, I'm listening to podcasts, or if I do watch videos, it's art videos from art YouTube. So I don't know what anyone's opinions are on Star Wars unless I ask them. Like, I talk to Rhino. That's why I know how he feels about Star Wars. If it's somebody that I talk to them on a daily basis, then I'll know their opinions on things. But I have no idea. I never watched his reviews on anything before, and the only things I ever watched of his were his fan theory videos. And so I don't watch him now. So I have no idea how he feels about things. The only people whose feelings I really need to know about Star Wars are the people that I'm friends with. Or if somebody invites me to a debate stream, which they don't, I'm not shocked why. The last one I got wrangled into, I wasn't told it was a debate stream until Rhino told me like the day before. And it was they were very nice for inviting me on, but it was a stream from hell. Mm. And it was like, I don't know. I don't really know how, because it wasn't a debate stream. It's let's sit there and have passive aggressive conversations, but never even get into the nitty gritty of it. It was a very strange stream, but so yeah, professional acquaintance is what I would say, but I haven't talked to the guy in years. The last time I talked to Star Wars Theory, he emailed me saying he was, sending like regards and that he was sorry that my sister passed away, which was very nice of him to do. But I don't talk to him. But
the thing on
the success.
Yes, absolutely. The thing that gets me with him is that he is one of those people that I truly believe actually knows Star Wars lore. And it's like I'm sort of saying, these people are choosing to ignore the blatant, clear outpoints in these shows for their nostalgia feels. Like asking these questions, like, you know, he doesn't sit there and say, hang on a second, that doesn't make sense what Mon Mothma's saying to Hera. He doesn't sit there and say, okay, how does this even make sense in regards to how Hera can close her eyes and hear the lightsabers? It doesn't make any sense that, where are we? He doesn't even ask those questions anymore. It's just Dave Filoni is Jesus, and we trust in Dave Filoni, and he is our savior. The thing is with the whole savior thing is somebody like Star Wars Theory that says Dave Filoni is the savior of Star Wars sits there and gives the majority of the shows that he's watching, Star Wars shows that he's watching, 7s, 8s, 9s, or 10s out of 10. What is there to save if you think that it's that good? Like,
I don't know.
I know that he goes against. I know that he's not a fan of the sequels, right? But majority of the shows that he's watched, he's given good ratings on. Majority of the episodes on Disney Plus that he's watched, he's giving 7s or above. So what needs saving exactly when Dave Filoni is his savior? It doesn't make any sense.
I don't.
It's an oxymoron.
I don't really care.
Anyway,
no, if he likes it, he likes it. I mean, you got to remember, this is a dude that spent his entire childhood like sick in a hospital. So if he can find enjoyment, I can't find enjoyment in this. Like, I'm way too critical, and I have the standards of the original trilogy. So those are my standards. Nothing has reached it. And even George Lucas is disappointed in this, which doesn't shock me at all. But if some people they just need to be happy, and they can find happiness in something, I'm happy for them. I personally can't. I just can't. Like, there's too many issues. There's too many glaring issues with this. And just to put it in perspective, so my favorite movie outside of nerdom, my favorite movie is Silence of the Lambs. There's a really glaring issue in the final scenes when Clarice is in the basement, and they had to film it. It's filmed like Buffalo Bill looking through his night vision goggles, but when they filmed it, all the lights are on. So when he reaches out to her to touch her hair, there's a shadow because they filmed it with the lights on, because they couldn't film it with the lights off. They didn't have the technology. So that's a big issue. Well, that's a technical issue that it's in this darkness. There shouldn't be a shadow, but there is a shadow because they couldn't film it any other way. Like, they just didn't have the technology. So that's something that it's like, okay, that's a problem, but I can overlook it because I'm a human being. I can understand the limits of filming. And so like, that's something that it's a problem, but I can look past it.
Yeah.
In Casablanca, one of the things that's a big problem is when they find the stuff out from the mob boss, you know, the fatter guy, that he's like, and he says this when he gives them the information, he's like, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I'm telling you this. It's very out of character for him to give out information like that to them. But the character himself even acknowledges that. So it would take, if he didn't have that sentence in there, it would be a glaring plot hole, because that's so out of character for a man like him to just give out information like that. But he even acknowledges it. So there's things where it's like, okay, that is an issue, but either you're a human being and you can acknowledge that, like, that's just an issue and they couldn't do anything more, or they're smart enough in the filmmaking process to acknowledge it themselves and address it themselves. There are so many glaring problems that could be fixed if you just had somebody intelligent making it, but they don't. So I can't look past that. If somebody else can, like, so if I were to watch a Fast and the Furious movie, I don't give two shits about Fast and the fucking Furious. I watched the first one and I was bored out of my goddamn mind. I think it is so incredibly boring. People are going to get mad. Same thing with Mission Impossible. Good on Tom Cruise for being old and still being able to do action scenes. I can't stay awake during those movies. I find them so boring. And I like action movies. So, But when I watch it, like people are like, oh, well, this, and this, like when they're discussing it. And I'm like, I could not give two fucks. Like I just am praying for it to end at this point. But if there's glaring plot holes, I'm just looking past it because I don't care. So maybe there's people that they just want to enjoy it. I don't know. I am rambling. I'm sorry. Cut me off.
No, that's right. I just want to say, just to finish off on this, just in regards to this. Look, you can agree. I disagree. Dave Filoni might have done some work with George Lucas and obviously worked under George Lucas for a very long time, but he has gone off the rails. He is definitely in the Disney camp of making Star Wars, and he's been infiltrated by Kathleen Kennedy as far as I'm concerned. So that's my opinion on that.
Kathleen Kennedy worked with George Lucas, and look how she stabbed him. Just because you worked with George doesn't mean you are George and can do exactly what George did. No, George Lucas is the only person that can do what George Lucas does. He's the only one. Steven Spielberg is the only Steven Spielberg. As much as I don't like his movies, Christopher Nolan is Christopher Nolan. These are important people that are doing the things that they do. Not everyone is Elon Musk. Not everyone is Jeff Bezos. Not everyone is Albert Einstein. These are very unique people that did very unique things, and nobody else can be like them. If they had identical twins, they would be different.
And as far as I'm concerned too, Dave Filoni has stabbed George in the back just as much as Kathleen Kennedy has with everything that he's basically put out there. Ripping off the EU and all of that sort of thing. And people want to say the EU wasn't canon. I still make the argument, how do you decanonize something that was never canon? You can't decanonize something that was never canon. That doesn't make any sense. You would just put it in the bin and say this isn't a part of the universe. But they decanonized it, which meant that it was canon and they no longer want it to be the canon. So that's my argument there. In regards to his criticisms, and obviously, Adam, you defended theory in his criticisms of Andor. There was a lot more wrong with Andor than bricks and screws. That's all I'm going to say in regards to that. Andor was garbage. And people choose to ignore it because it's so adult Star Wars and it didn't revolve around the Force and all of this. I can still have that. Based on their logic of me criticizing Andor and saying, oh, you just need lightsabers and force powers, well, then I should be loving Ahsoka, right?
I don't know.
Based on that logic.
I have no interest in talking about other people's opinions on Star Wars. I really don't. And I feel like he's been brought up every single week, which... if you guys, I don't know, I just don't care. I don't care about the only people's whose opinions I care about are my friends and, people that are active on my channel. And Star Wars Theory never gets brought up, but he's been brought up every single week here. And I just have no interest in talking about other people's opinions that have no effect on my life or my viewership. I'm interested in talking about the episode and discussing it. As far as other people's opinions, unless it's George Lucas or somebody that's actually working on the show, I don't have any interest in it. So I don't know.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on. So Ahsoka speaks with the whale. The whale says, yeah, all right, we'll take you for a ride. Ahsoka gets back in the ship and says basically, oh, so they're going to take us to Ezra, right? And she's like, I don't know. They're just going to take us for a ride. So they decide to go for a ride. This is what Anna was talking about earlier. And that's pretty much it, really. They go inside the mouth. Ahsoka's now got the ability to talk to animals. And they go inside the mouth. And they fly away and jump into hyperspace. Whoa, that's a bad shot. And that's it. That's the end of the episode, really.
Look, she's smiling.
Yeah, she is smiling.
So we're going to have a new galaxy, which is probably going to be the exact same.
Yeah. Do you reckon the Vong are going to be in this galaxy?
It's
Imagine they do that.
I feel like they're probably. Do you think they're going to have the Chiss in there? This is actually where the Chiss. I don't think.
Oh, maybe.
I'm like, no, that's not what they're from. The unknown regions of space. They're still in this galaxy, but they're going to do something so stupid. I already have the feeling.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, this episode here, there was a lot of stupid that happened. And a lot of the stupid stuff got ignored for the member berries and the nostalgia of seeing young Ahsoka, seeing the Clone Wars in live action, even though we've had live action Clone Wars in the prequels. A little bit different, I will say. But seeing Anakin, and look, there was some nice moments. There were some nice shots, but those nice moments and those nice shots don't justify the stupid in the episode. And I think we've really touched on those stupid elements in regards to Hera being able to use the Force, in regards to the New Republic and how inept they are and how stupid the New Republic actually are.
No wonder they're easy to be able to get taken over.
So yeah, yes, that's so true, and especially like the second time, Palpatine's still out there somewhere. Luke's still out here somewhere. Where's Luke? Where's Leia? This is the other problem with doing something in this time period, is that there are specific characters that are really relevant and prevalent. They should be there. Right? They should definitely be a part of this. Like, even if it was a hologram of Leia in that Senate meeting that Hera was having in that earlier episode, like, Leia should have been there. Don't you think?
Yes.
It's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Yeah, there was a lot of references to Finding Nemo. I did see that.
I know the whale.
The whale.
Well, it also looked like Dune. You remember when Dune Part 1, before it came out, when they were just releasing the trailers and it's like the big shot of the worm?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All standing there. That shot of us, I'm like, they copied they copied Dune.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is like, I'm sitting there essentially barracking for the bad guys in all of this. Like Balin, not that we got to see him in this episode, but when he's on screen, they're probably some of the better, like, at least through him, we're actually getting some sort of, I guess, development with the character. Like, at least seeing how he feels about certain things. Like, when he says that it'd be a shame to have to kill Ahsoka because there's so little, such a small amount of Jedi out there. Like,
yeah, only 66 of them.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too. He's another Jedi survivor of Order 66 that I hate. I hate this whole fucking. I hate this new canon.
Everyone lives.
Everyone lives. Fucking Palpatine was a failure, but he's got a second chance and he fails again. So ridiculous.
If only he learns to stop shooting lightning when they cross the things, he'll be right.
Yeah. So ridiculous. But yeah, like I said, the lightsabers have different power levels depending on what the writer needs. It can melt through this map, this metal ball, break it in half, but Sabine's insides don't heat up at all when she gets stabbed by a lightsaber. Like, it's just Disney Star Wars, as far as I'm concerned, and I've said this before, isn't Star Wars. It is literally this new fan fiction with Star Wars references, and it continues to reference itself to make the seals clap.
Dude, there's better fan fiction of Star Wars than this.
True. Very true.
And what bothers me is, back before like Disney took over, people said, "Oh yeah, the EU is basically Disney fan fiction," and so it's like, well, I guess you could consider it, even though like it is what it is. But nowadays they're like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever." It's like, remember when you guys were giving like everyone shit that read books or that, I don't know, bought comics? It's funny because when George Lucas still owned Star Wars, remember those line of toys that came out, I don't know, decades ago, and they had an action figure of Thrawn, and you can buy the characters along with the comics. So George Lucas even considered this, part of the Star Wars universe, and he had final say in everything. And he's like, you can't kill these characters, you can't do this, this, and this. And That's why certain characters never died, because that's not what George wanted. It's funny how like Mara Jade has an action figure. Thrawn has an action. The only reason we still have Thrawn is, I don't know, this guy named George Lucas. So funny.
Yeah.
That is now.
And, you know, he even said, like, when they did the Vong Wars and all of that sort of thing, you can't have Sith. Like, the Sith are now extinct. Like, you can't bring those in. And obviously, you know, the dark side's still out there. The dark side, you know, the dark side lives in everyone.
Well,
you know?
don't need to have a Sith to have an evil person.
That's right.
Like, look at
Or have an enemy.
the Empire. The only two Sith in it were the Emperor and Darth Vader. And yeah, Mara Jade, but she was like an assassin more so. Like, they didn't train her to the level. But all of the guys that were running the fucking Empire weren't Sith, and they were still evil. But whatever.
Yeah.
Lucas is a zealot. No. You got to read Bob Iger's evil fucking mastermind book. George was he was lied to. He was told that they were going to basically be financially backing him, and he was still going to get to run the company, just like John Lasseter with Pixar. And so George got swindled into this deal. When he realized that wasn't the deal, they said, well, guess what? If you don't agree to this, you're going to owe us $500 million. Your company's going to lose everything and everyone's going to lose their job. So either sign this, get $4.5 billion, or go into bankruptcy, lose everything you ever owned or ever created, and you still owe us $500 million. So George got swindled by Lux fucking Luthor, aka Bob Iger. So go read Bob Iger's book. It's very, very telling.
And he also got stabbed in the back by Kathleen Kennedy.
Yep.
Kathleen Kennedy sat in his face in that interview and said, you know, we're going to continue George's legacy. We're going to continue the world that he created in the characters the way that they were supposed to be and all of this kind of thing. And then as soon as she got ultimate power, unlimited power, she decided to fuck him in the ass and say, no, we're not. We're going to do something completely
without any spit or anything. Just straight raw.
You know, look, George sold his company. He said that he would never sell it to a big studio or anything like that back in the past. And he did. And it's kind of like, you know, people want to use the argument of what he said in the 80s or early 90s or something about how the Force is in everyone to justify that the Force is in everyone and everyone can wield the Force and everything. Well, George changed what he was sort of talking about there. He introduced midichlorians after that and all of that sort of thing.
Well, that's not what George meant. It literally says it in the original trilogy. The Force is what binds the universe together. So yes, we all are part of the greater Force, but not everyone can use it. That's why Force users are special and unique. That's why there's not very many of them. And yes, throughout a vast galaxy with quadrillions of people, aliens and humans, there's only a few thousand of them. So think about that.
Yeah, like water's in everyone, but not everyone can water bend in Avatar. Same thing. Something's in you or a part of you doesn't mean
we're
that
all
you
intelligent, but not all of us have the IQ of Stephen Hawking, right?
Yep.
It's
and when everyone's special, no one's special.
But it's Disney, so you get the Force, and you get the Force, and you get the Force. It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
We got a $10 super chat from X-Wing. I don't know if this is coming up because my shit's running really bad right now. And I can't even read it because it's gone invisible. Thanks for everyone. Thanks for everything yesterday, mate. Much love. You're very welcome. I was on his stream for probably an hour or so, an hour and a half, and we were discussing this. Good to see you, X-Wing. Thanks,
X-Wing's good people.
He is. He got the feels from this episode, and again, that's fine.
A lot of people can get the feels for things.
Yeah. But the problem is that you've got to not ignore everything else. You got to actually like ask the questions. What is going on? How is this happening? Who is this? How did they do that? All of that sort of thing. You don't have to. You can sit there and just blindly watch it if you really want to. But that's not how I watch Star Wars. It's not how I watch Star Wars. So what are we predicting moving forward, Anna? What do you think we're going to see in this next
action figures? We're going to see Obi-Wan. They made the action figure of him. I guarantee it. We're going to see it.
Yeah, and it's convinced me of that now. Like seeing what they did, there's no way in the world he's not coming in. I mean, it makes perfect sense. Put it this way: if Carrie Fisher was still alive, I guarantee she'd be in it.
Well, he's dead at this point in time.
Doesn't matter.
Well, so is Anakin, I guess, and we got to see him.
Dude, they made the action figures. It's happening.
Yeah, okay.
Those are the only. Oh no, Rex. They should have Rex and Cody action figures too.
So apparently, you know that scene that I was telling you about last week, about Ahsoka and Anakin on Mustafar.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, that exists.
Oh God.
It actually exists, but they shelved it. It was supposed to be in this episode.
Good, they shelved it.
Yeah, but this is what I'm hearing. This is the rumor that's going on out there.
Somebody said they wouldn't be surprised if Luke shows up. I don't think Luke is going to show up. And you know why? It's because they hate Luke Skywalker and they don't want him to be a part of it. The only reason Luke is in it was because of Jon Favreau, not Dave Filoni. Mm-hmm. And so with this, I don't think Luke's going to show up because, one, there's no action figure. And there already has been of Ahsoka and of Anakin. And what they want to do, what Dave Filoni wants to do, what his little hard on for Star Wars is that he wants his character Ahsoka to be the number one in the universe. That's why when Anakin's talking to her, he's talking to her the way he should be talking to his son, not Ahsoka. So he is replacing Luke Skywalker with Ahsoka. The heir to the Empire, that's Luke and Leia's story. That's not Ahsoka's story. He's replacing them. So in the next one of the future episodes, you're gonna get to see Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, all three of them together. I guarantee you, because he wants everyone to forget about Luke Skywalker and replace him with his little hard-on for Ahsoka. It's fucking weird. Like this is his fetish, guys. I'm telling you. Dave Filoni, he's into some weird kinky wolf shit, and he's got the biggest fucking heart on for Ahsoka. And so this is his wet dream coming to life. We are watching somebody's weird, sick, weird fetish. That's what we're watching. It's disturbing. I'm sorry.
No. If
she wanted to be a part of the Skywalker legacy, she's got to lose an arm. I mean, come on, that goes without saying. Like,
no, she's a woman. Women get to keep all their appendages.
Like literally during that's what should have happened. If they really wanted to go and do something crazy and brave, when Anakin and everything was fighting, she wakes up and she's missing an arm. Like he took her arm. That would be awesome. She'd have to relearn how to fight and everything, but then you miss out on the dual lightsaber stuff, which is her signature thing. But it would have been something.
I want to share with you all again how Dave Filoni feels about adapting the EU. And plucking stuff from the expanded universe. Is that sharing?
I can't see anything, buddy.
Oh my God. What is going on, StreamYard? Hold on a second. Let me try this again. Oh. Man, my stuff is running so bad. Ever since fucking going to Mozicon. What did he do?
I think StreamYards is just broken.
Yeah, I think it is.
Mozza gave a human virus to a computer.
Wow, I can't even go into my share option now.
That's going to make Seal of the Week hard.
Yeah, it's going to make it really hard. Well, Dave Filoni said that if you're going to pluck something from the EU and make it something that it's not and was never meant to be that way, it's rude. That's what he says.
Oh, he wouldn't say that. Where's the video?
I'm trying to share it. Fucking can't.
Yeah, he is.
Yes. Here we go. Here we go. It's doing something. Can you see anything yet?
No, but your picture's now frozen.
Oh my Lord.
Turn your video off. It might help your computer.
Turn what video off?
Yeah, your camera.
Okay.
Yeah, see if that helps.
Oh, come on, StreamYard, you dog. Sorry, there was a couple of things that I missed as well. Let Let me just get these while we're waiting. So Melissa Lord says Ahsoka rides a space whale in a space whale. Star Wars is saved. LOL for a member chat. Thank you. And we also had Porg says Darth Melvin is friends with Theory and clowns on him. I know. They've been on stream together. Hail Darth Melvin and the Knights of Melvin. I'm definitely a knight. All right, let's see. Is this going to play?
So if we're going to do an ad,
At the moment, it's just a spinny thing. I'm not too sure what Anna sees.
Did you hear that?
No.
we're
Oh,
going
no, I
to
see
a
him.
military leader. Yeah, I could create a new guy, sure. But what about Thrawn? Thrawn is great. Thrawn is a character we all know. Thrawn has a lot of credibility.
Can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So then you ask yourself, is it right to use him? And can we use him in a way that's similar to the books? Or are we using him and it's going to go completely into left field? And there have been times when we wanted to use things from the EU, and I was like, yeah, but we can't use it that way. So why? I don't want to use it and change it. I don't want to use it and make it something completely different. That's rude.
Oh, make it something completely different. That's rude. You should take your own advice, Dave. Because right now he is making the heir to the Empire completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that is pretty much it. Anything more that you want to mention, Anna, about this episode or say?
And this, it's a waste.
Yep, and it's.
I think that's the best way to describe this entire show. It's a waste, and with the amount of money, resources, and people that they have working on it, and in the show itself, it is a fundamental waste of storytelling, talent, and all of our time. If you guys liked watching it, congratulations. I don't know how, but good for you. If this was any other fandom, if it was any other IP, everyone would be able to see the glaring problems. But for some reason, when it's Disney Star Wars, they can do no wrong anymore. It's very bizarre. I feel like it's Stockholm syndrome almost at this point. Yeah. Somebody's asking Jack show on my channel in like an hour.
Yeah. Do you need to go yet, or are you able to hang around?
Are you about to end it?
No, well, I was just going to go into some other things like Seal of the Week and this Lando news.
Oh, no, I got to go in like at least
get some food.
I got 5 minutes.
You got 5 minutes. All right, well, let me just bring this up really quickly if it decides to share. Oh, man, it's going to take forever. So Star Wars Lando writer reveals the series is now a movie. So they're no longer. The funny thing is that didn't the writer get sacked online? Found out that he wasn't writing it anymore online, and then Donald Glover is the one writing it with his brother now. I don't know what's going on over there, but anyway. So apparently, they're going to now be doing the Lando show as a movie. How do you reckon that's going to go in theaters?
It's going to be a failure, just like Solo was.
I agree.
Isn't it weird how we thought Go Solo lost money, but out of the new projects, it's probably going to be one of the big winners.
You reckon Lando is going to make money?
No, I'm saying Solo in comparison is going to look like it's made a shit ton of money.
Oh, I see. Yeah. The only people.
So is it young Lando, old Lando? What do we know of the story?
Well, it's Donald Glover Lando.
But the last time we saw Lando, he was an old man. He was running off with his daughter, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what she was.
Oh, yeah, that was in The Rise of Skywalker, whatever that was.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. It looks like this is probably just going to be like a continuation from his story and whatever his story was in the Solo movie. I'm not sure, though. DOA, Dead on Arrival. Yeah. So anyway, that's the news in regards to that. I don't know if it's actually showing or sharing. This whole thing is pissing me off now. There it is. So yeah, it's going to be that version of him.
It's going to be so bad. It's going to be him fucking
Isn't it?
robots.
Oh yeah. We finally get to learn why he becomes Pando Lando. I wonder if he's really going to do that. Hey, baby. You go start chatting up droids in a bar. Anyway, that's the news that I've seen in regards to that. It's going to be released as a movie. There's not much more to say than that, and it's going to be a failure. I wonder if they'll just release it as a movie though on Disney Plus.
Who likes Donald Glover?
I don't know what else. What else has he?
been
What
in?
else has he actually done, other than be Lando Calrissian?
I don't know.
Do you know, Grant, what Donald Glover, what other roles he's played? Chat will know. Let's see.
I don't know why he's famous.
Me either. But it's so funny. The writer's strike is on, and he decides to write his own movie. But isn't he wouldn't he be a part of the Actors Guild or whatever the fuck it is?
The Film Actors Guild.
The only thing I know about it is that people that have already done the work, already contracted the work, are still they still have to do it if they signed it before the strike started. So that's the loophole that they're doing. Is if everything was already signed and they have to do it, I guess that's their way of getting around it.
Yeah, okay. God, imagine that. Imagine having to stand outside and protest and then go in and have to write a script or something for a studio that you're protesting against. You'd just make it shit. I mean, what's new? They're making it all shit, aren't they? Already.
Or maybe they'll make it good. That'll teach them.
Oh yeah, they'll make some good scripts. He raps badly, does he?
Donald, yeah, well, he's Childish Gambino. So that's his name.
Lethal Weapon? No.
No, he did the song "This Is America."
Oh, did he? I don't know what that song is.
You've seen the film clip, most likely.
Okay.
Him walking around a warehouse with his shirt off.
There you go. Well, there you go. All right. I'm going to try and... I don't know how this is going to work, to be honest with you. Seal of the week.
All right. Well, I got to get going and get prepped for Jack Show. But thanks for having me on again.
Of course. It's awesome having you to have these discussions. Hopefully we'll all be good all next week for another one. And yeah, take care. We'll see you on the Jack Show.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. All right, everyone. Again, if you're not subscribed, which most people here would be, but if you're not subscribed to Anna, that Star Wars girl, please go over and subscribe. Any mods in the chat, please chuck the link in the chat. After this stream, I will be going most likely straight over to Jace. Let me actually bring up. Oops.
Jace Forks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good lad.
Let me find a link to that stream or channel. I'll be over there to talk more about Ahsoka. Which I don't know how much more I can say.
Everybody. You're addicted.
Well, I promised him that while I was on leave, I would do one of his streams because I always miss it because I'm always at work. I also said that to Fractured Filter, but I don't know if we're going to find time to do that.
Oh, no.
Fuck, where is Jace's channel?
It's gone.
Why can't I find it? All right, I've got a quicker way to get there, actually. Sorry, guys, just give me a sec. Fuck. Are out. Come on. There it is. And we're going there. Copy. All right, I'm going to put that in the chat. If it'll let me. Oh my God. StreamYard. Okay, so I'm going there after this stream to have a discussion. Now, while I am, this is what I hate. Like last week, my internet went out and I lost like 75 viewers because my internet went down for fucking ages, and now my StreamYard is running shit. What I'd like to do, Grant, are you there?
Could I present the pages? See if that works first before you jump off and then do a restart?
Well, no, because I'm going to share. Because it's the same problem's going to happen. It was like when I was sharing Anna's. It took for ages for it to come up. I feel like I just need to reset everything.
Okay.
But would you be able to entertain the chat for 5 minutes?
I mean, I can talk to him for a bit. Whether I entertain him is a different story.
All right. Well, do your best. All right,
No
guys.
worries.
Please don't go anywhere. I'll be back very, very, very quickly. Hopefully. All right.
He won't be.
All right. I'll be back.
All right, buddy. All right, so I'll tell you tales from MozzaCon while we're waiting. So I had to book the hotel motel thingy when we were there, and for whatever reason, I had to be the one that checked in or a family member. And because Mozza was going to be the first person that turned up, I just said, "Oh yeah, my kid's going to be there." But I thought, well, Mozza's been Mozza. Anyone who knows Mozza knows Mozza. So I thought, well, let's have a little bit of fun with this. So I gave him another call up and I said to him, you have to make sure that when my son gets there, you talk very slowly and very clearly. He's on the spectrum and everything, and we have to you got to make sure that you don't startle him too much. Didn't tell any of the other guys this, just so when Mozza would get in there, it would be really weird. Little did I know, Mozza already had a story made up in his head. So, as soon as they get in there, they're almost like, "Oh, hello, how are you? What are you here for?" And Moz is just like, "We're having a family reunion," and then he proceeds to tell her about all the times that I abandoned him as a child and why he didn't take my last name but took his mother's last name. And then afterwards, he was asking me, he's like, "Why was she acting so weird?" And then I explained it to him, and yeah, apparently he made up this whole life story. He was that believable that I even thought I was a bad father to him. So yeah, that was the Mozza. Like you can't trick this kid. You can't do anything because his brain works at a different level. We're not too sure if he's like slow or if he's like an absolute genius. Like this could be like what was it? I can't think of his was it Kaiser Sose or something from The Usual Suspects. It's all one big giant plan. It's going to be revealed later on. He's some freaking professor over there, and he was just doing experiments on us, like some sort of social experiment. But yeah, he was. It was definitely a lot of fun. He's a weird kid. He spent most of the time just drinking coffee and eating biscuits. I want to say, I don't know if you guys know what nippies are. I had never heard of them. But yeah, it's like a popper, but it's filled with coffee, and it's about 60% sugar. So yeah, he proceeded to have 4 of those a day. And that's how he survived. Don't know where he gets his energy from. But yeah, like he literally, I don't think the kids lived. He hadn't seen anything. Like the first time he saw a beach was there. Yeah, he's an evil he's an evil genius, that's for sure. And to say Mozza's on a spectrum, I don't know. I agree with Red Hood. Mozza has a whole different spectrum himself. He is a spectrum. Okay, so vertical, you don't know what a Mozza is? Okay, so easiest way I can describe Mozza to someone who's never met a Mozza is he's a human version of a pug dog. The way in which it drawls and it growls and it doesn't make any sense and it pisses all over the place, that's Mozza. But for whatever reason, he can recall a game developer from a game that he played once back in 2010. Yeah, he's a bit crazy, but he never saw a beach. So the beach first time. He had a chicken schnitzel for the first time, and he couldn't even remember what it was called. He kept calling him chicken samis. It's like, oh, I'm having a chicken sami, and like it's not a sami. Yeah, and unfortunately, like I had to cancel the lady of the night for him. We organized one for him, and he yeah, no, he didn't. He didn't want her, so that's all right. We weren't going to force him. But what we didn't tell him was the lady that we had ordered wasn't exactly a lady. She looked like one for the most part, but yeah, let's just say that he would have been singing the crying game by the end of the night. But yeah, maybe it's smart of him. As I said, he's an evil genius. Maybe he knew that we were going to do something. But yeah, that's what we basically got up to with MozzaCon and that. And yeah, I mean, did you guys see? How many of you guys have seen the live stream where he was absolutely shit faced? Because
it was the funniest live
yeah,
stream
that
I've ever
was
had a
him
part
the whole
of, being a
weekend.
part of.
He
It
was
was
just
fucking
when he was drunk,
great.
he was just louder.
MozzaCon.
That
If
was
you
the
don't
main
know,
difference.
obviously we do the Full Aussie channel.
Yeah,
So if you're not
yeah,
subscribed
I mean,
to the
he's
Full
22.
Aussie channel, go and
Also,
subscribe to the Full Aussie channel.
Rhino forgot how to do maths.
And there's all the clips coming
we're talking
up
about
on
how
that
it was
of
to be
MozzaCon.
young and
So if you
22
don't know-
again, and Rhino at this stage had he'd already had a little bit to drink, so he was feeling very
I was
very
feeling
tipsy.
good though.
I said to him, I said, "You're probably so drunk you don't even remember how old you were when you were 22." So then he sits there and proceeds to try and figure out how old he was at 22 by counting on his fingers, because as you know, most fingers go up to 22.
I was pretty fucked.
Well, it looks like someone's trying to come back.
Oh, can you not hear me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she tastes like cigarettes. That's I literally imagined that whole Forrest Gump scene with Mozza.
Can you hear me? Testing.
Wait,
Testing.
Rhino, are you there or are you just spinning?
Testing.
Can anyone see Rhino at all? Doesn't
Testing.
look like it. But yeah, so yeah, Rhino continued to try and count up to his fingers on 22. So there's double audio.
They can hear me. Can you see me?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I can't do anything about this. Don't go anywhere, guys. Rhino's just been a boomer. Oh, there he is. He's gone.
Hello.
All right. So, Black Rod, you can hear me. All right.
Hello.
So, is there anything else that you guys want to talk about? Let me know in the chat.
So Grant's the only one. That
Rhino.
can't
Oh
hear me.
yeah, Rhino has no ass. Also, he's like Brie
Oh, that's
Larson.
bullshit.
So, strangely enough, the only one that has an ass is Lethal.
That's bullshit.
Rhino's back. Okay. I can't hear Rhino, so I'm not too sure if Rhino can hear Rhino.
I can hear you.
Can you guys in the chat hear and see Rhino?
Testing. They can definitely hear me because they're saying what I'm saying, and they can tell me that they
No.
can hear me.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on. I have no idea what's going on, guys. Rhino, are you in the private chat, buddy? Let me know. I can't even tell if you're even on. Yeah, not too sure what the hell's going on with StreamYards. Shit, even the timer stopped up the top. What the hell? Alright, this is kind of weird. Yeah, it looks like Rhino's joined the dark side. It's not that time of month to be able to... It's not Black History Month, mate. You got to change your picture. Oh, there he goes. Okay, you could hear him. So Sith said you could hear him. I couldn't hear him. What did he say? Did he say anything or... Okay, so he could hear me, but then why does he keep... Look, he's sucking your mum's tit. Okay, well that makes sense then, because that's exactly what's going on. Yeah, so I guess we get more stories. Yeah, what do you guys want to talk about?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I saw him for like 2 frames just before he jumped off.
The chat,
So yeah, I have
you
no
can't
idea
hear me.
What's going on with it. I could have been it. But yeah. So anyway, more stuff.
Can you hear me, Grant?
Yeah, we played a game of balls. There's 3 of us. Moza kept throwing balls straight in the gutter and then getting a spare. Like, I think he's a quick learner. It was awesome hanging out with Blake. Blake was a really cool dude, really chilled. I don't know how Rhino set up with Moza on. After that clip, that was horrendous. That was such a weird thing to to see him being able to raid him in, because I don't have the energy for it. There's no way in the world. Come on,
Okay,
Rhino. What are you
so-
doing, buddy?
What is this stream? I know Red Hoodwinked. All right, Grant's gone. Okay, so chat. I need to now just know in a new unit of time. Can you hear me? I can hear Rhino. Can you see me? Grant, can you hear me?
Hey, you're back. I can hear you now. I can see you.
Oh my god.
It said I was.
I don't know. I
It said
could
I was-
hear you, and the chat
Right.
could hear me, and yes to both. Okay, good. All right. So we're hopefully we're fucking back. Sorry, guys, man. I don't know what's going on here. Or maybe I need to do a clean out of my fucking computer or something.
Colon.
All right, thanks, guys. Okay, you can both hear and see me. All right, so let's just do this and get this out the way. But I need you guys to pick one. I need you guys to pick a nomination. So I've got
That one.
3.
No.
I got 3. I got 5, but you need to pick one between these 2. Let's see if it shares well enough. Hey, it shared straight away. Okay, one of the best shots in Star Wars history. Argue with a wall. And it's just the shot of... All right, so that's one. So that's number 1. And number 2 is this one. Okay, so it's agreed that episode 5 of Ahsoka is the best thing Disney has done with Star Wars, period. Right? Like, this is peak Star Wars. Peak Star Wars. I keep hearing that. Every episode of every show that we come out with is just peak Star Wars. So that's number 1. That's number 2. I need your nominee in the chat. 1 or 2.
Do people know what peak even means?
1 or 2. And then we'll do proper seal of the week. 2. Nate P. So 2, 1. 2's winning at the moment. 1. Oh. Seal of the week, guys. 2s. All right. It looks like the 2s have it. All right. So I'm getting rid of this one. All right. Here we go. Where's my thing? There it is.
That's what you always.
I'm all the Jedi.
All right, here we go, guys. So nominee number 1 comes from Star Council. He, him, himself. The he, him, himself. We're in an era of Star Wars where we can see Ahsoka shows, I don't know, embracing the mystical elements of lore. Ha, ha, ha. That's so very funny. And also the gritty spy thriller Andor without any mention of Force. Personally, I think it's great that these two shows coexist. Okay. All right. You've heard my opinions of Andor. So that's nominee number 1. Nominee number 2 comes from Dan Marcus. It's a different Dan this time. I'm going to just make this a little bit bigger, actually, because the writing's so small. Do you want to read this one for us, Grant?
Since we're all talking about The Last Jedi again,
Are we all talking about The Last Jedi again? All right.
I want to talk about this scene. It is without question the most beautiful and profound moment I've witnessed in any Star Wars film. The acceptance and failure of an ally and not a threat continues to move me to this day. Well, that's retarded.
Wow. That is retarded.
Oh, the way, that's a different dickhead Dan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a different Dan. All right, so that's nominee number 2. Nominee number 3 comes to us from Jacob. Jacob has had nominations in the past. He's a 26-year-old he, him. Of course, pronoun people. The Last Jedi still remains nothing short of an absolute triumph. A film that means so much to me on such a deep personal level. I'll never stop thinking about it. And wish I could watch it again. Well, you can, can't you? For wish I can watch it again for the very first time. Miss this era of Star Wars. Okay, dude. That's nominee number 3.
I don't think you should be making fun of the retarded kid.
Oh, man. Look at his fucking profile picture. It's got little Grogu in there. Oh, look, I'm so happy. And then nominee number 4 is the one that you guys picked out of those 2, is from Nate P. with, okay, so it's agreed that episode 5 of Ahsoka is the best thing Disney has done with Star Wars, period. Right? Like, this was peak Star Wars. And then obviously all the images that you saw. So those are your 4 nominations for this week's Seal of the Week. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to put the poll in the chat. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm surprised the amount of Last Jedi shit that's come up. That's
me
weird.
too. I'm like, is everybody talking about The Last Jedi again? Really? I thought everybody was talking about Ahsoka. There's the poll for you guys. Get your votes in. And of course, as per usual, we are going to watch Grizzy's video. Now, if you're not subscribed to Grizzy, I'm going to grab the link here. I'm going to put that in the chat. Go and give Grizzy a sub. We always do this when there's new Star Wars shows. He gets all the... So this one is Disney Star Wars Shills react to Ahsoka Episode 5. Here we go. 7 minutes. It's a long one. You would think so. Being the episode that it was. We'll give that a like. Here we go.
God, she's so young.
Oh!
Wow.
Dude, he said that so weird. Oh, what the fuck?
My heart is beating so fast right now. Clean up your act. It's a sort of behavior that can lead you to meet me in a dark kitchen, as perhaps you have before.
Wow. Wow. I hadn't seen this.
Can they melt it back together? Is
That
that
was-
a thing? Is that possible?
Oh my god.
It.
I'm here to finish your training.
Oh! One's never too old to learn, Snips.
She's gonna cry.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fake. That was so fake.
Look at
I
all
gotta
the
see that one
tears.
again. She's like, she wants to cry for the camera, but she can't, so she'll fake it.
She's dead inside.
Oh my god.
Noah, what are you doing? You used to be a man, for Christ's sake.
We're getting this. It's happening!
If he switches back and forth between Anakin and Vader, I'm gonna lose it.
I had to fight a drag queen for the last black eyeshadow.
Oh, Jason, you can hear that? Whoa.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next
Yep.
product.
Yep.
Got chills.
You little baby Jedi, you?
Shut
Oh.
the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh no! Is she younger?
It's young Ahsoka.
That's young Ahsoka.
Go, baby Ahsoka.
Oh, baby is so.
I hear. What did you say? Hibbity hoopla!
That's Clone Wars Ahsoka.
No shit.
Oh! That's a fucking phase one clone!
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
This is the coolest thing I've ever witnessed in Star Wars.
Oh,
This is some of the best Star Wars content. Period.
Yep, here we go.
This episode right here already.
Loyalty to Disney. Loyalty to the brand.
This is some of the. This is
Say it's peak.
I'm speechless.
Everybody shut the fuck up! Everybody shut the fuck up and watch appreciate what we're having right now.
Fuck you.
No! Wow, young Ahsoka.
Christian, off.
I'm going to need you to take a seat as well.
That's for damn sure.
He is. He is.
Let's fucking go! Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
Are we gonna get Rex?
Oh my god, she's always crying.
You know who that is? It's Rex. Here we go. It's Rex.
Oh no, there he is! There's
You know, a lot of people ask me what it is exactly that I do on this channel. And I think I've finally found a solid answer.
Yep.
I work with retards.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Oh!
Oh! Yep. You knew it. This is making Star Wars 4.
I'm not even going to say anything. It's so embarrassing.
He Vadered! He Vadered!
He invaded?
This section, we cheer for the fag night.
I love Chrissy.
You know, you really need some help, but a regular psychiatrist couldn't even help you.
Oh, wait a minute!
She did a move.
Shut up.
We'll secure the perimeter. Come on, let's go.
Rex! There he is! That's Rex! And he had the voice and everything. It was wonderful.
Oh, he had the voice and everything. Like, what? They're going to change his voice? Fucking these people are stupid.
Well, I can change that in a hurry.
Tamara Morrison! As Rex! In live action!
Come on, let's go.
Oh, stop crying. Yeah, do you see tears? No.
You are fake news.
Yes.
Live.
Red. That's Red.
You must have a goddamn IQ of 160.
Oh my god. This is George Lucas.
I know.
No, it's not.
Fuck off.
George, he better have watched this.
I'm stressing. Oh, I'm stressing.
We got spoiled. We got spoiled with
Crap.
essentially 30 minutes of Anakin.
30 minutes of glorified filler.
Yep.
is what we got.
Yep.
So beautiful. This is 51 minutes. So that means we're probably getting some Thrawn and Ezra stuff in here.
Mama's wrong again.
Yeah.
What a great throwback to the original trilogy.
This is Star Wars.
What was a great throwback to the original trilogy? What, the whales? Did he react to the whales and said that?
Wrong again.
Ruthie doesn't edit out of context, so he
No,
must.
he doesn't.
What a great throwback to the original trilogy.
It is because that's Ahsoka there standing up because she's in the white. You can see it in the picture.
Man, these people are retarded. Grizzy, you're right. You work with retards.
This is Star Wars.
If this truly is Star Wars, why do you feel the need to constantly remind us?
They're powering up. They're doing the thing.
I have chills. This is so cool.
I have like full body chills right now.
I see this in action, baby. Let's go.
Shut the fuck up, you fat fucking cow.
Cry some more. Fake tears.
Good job,
Steel
Dave.
clap.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Dumb cunt.
Dave
Thank you, Dave.
Dave
Thank you,
Filoni,
Grizzy.
you have my soul.
Dave Filoni, you utter genius. Thank you.
The fuck happened to you, man? Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ, the fucking meat riding here is pathetic.
Dave Filoni, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I would have preferred an entire episode of Anakin, but also I didn't really think they knew where they were going with it. So I think they did it well.
I have such a hard time saying anything bad about the corporate or anything establishment. Ugh.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out some of the other content live on the channel.
There you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Let's drop the link again. Well, this is to the video, but
I started watching some guys because Grizzy inspired me to start doing the same sort of thing. But I watched one of their videos and it was the crying chick, and I'm just like, this, I can't. It hurts. I don't know how he does it.
it's painful even just to watch these things, but it's what we do. While we're doing Seal of the Week, we've got to watch the Seals react. It's what we do here. All right, guys. Let's see. Have you voted? Let me bring this up again. Give you guys another little bit of a chance if you haven't voted already. Share this bitch. So there's your nominee number 1. Nominee number 2. Nominee number 3. And nominee number 4. So get your last minute votes in. And we'll end the poll. We'll end Seal of the Week. And then we'll end the stream. God damn these people. Thank you, Dave Filoni. We're not worthy. No, you're not. You're not worthy to get good Star Wars. That's for sure. Fucking thank you, Dave Filoni. God, what a joke. What a goddamn joke. All right.
Sorry, I'm back, buddy.
I didn't realize you left.
Oh, yeah, it's right. You don't read the private chat.
Nothing came up in the private chat.
Oh, that's weird. I did at my end.
Didn't at my end.
Oh,
Fucking StreamYard. Fix your shit already. Fix your shit already. Chills, really? Yeah. Vote 3. Golf clap. Yep. I could be Dave. Could you?
Hi, Dave.
If you're Dave Filoni, I want you to come on. I want to interview you. All right. We've got 46 votes. Let's end this poll. Ending the poll. All right. So, in last place with 17% of the vote was number 1. This one here. The he, him, himself. Number 2, or sorry, third place or second last place was number 2 with this one. Dan, usually Dan's do really well, but no good this time. In second place, runner-up was Nate P. And the winner of this week's Seal of the Week with 34% of the vote was number 3, Jacob. It's a Last Jedi one. The Last Jedi still remains nothing short of an absolute triumph. A film that means so much to me on such a deep level. Such a deep personal level. I've never stopped thinking about it. I wish I could watch it again for the very first time. Miss this era of Star Wars. Can you believe he misses that era of Star Wars when we're still in that era of Star Wars? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, well done, Jacob. You win this week's Seal of the Week.
I'm all the Jedi.
And that is the show, guys. That's another week of Casual Rage. It's another week of Ahsoka. It's another week of fake Star Wars and us discussing it. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thanks to all the members. Thanks to all the super chatters. And thanks for hanging out with us, guys. If you come back and
you're the best.
Yes. If you come back and you're rewatching the stream, please do smash that like button. These streams have been really awesome since having Anna coming on, and I think she's been bringing a few people over, which has been really cool. And of course, Grant as well.
And Mr. Gregory.
We've had some good amounts of people in the chat, good discussion, great breakdowns, and they've been a lot of fun. We have 3 more episodes to go. Can you believe it? Nothing's happened in this entire Ahsoka show, and we've got 3 episodes left. So we will see you next week for episode 6, full breakdown, Seal of the Week, and anything more that comes up, any news that comes up. Grant, is there anything that you would like to plug before you leave?
I'm going to be doing my 100K celebration,
Yes,
most likely on the weekend. So we're doing a lot of game, getting a lot of people on there. Not too sure if it's going to be a big 12-hour stream or something, but that's what we're aiming for. So if I can't get it done this week, I'll advertise it for next weekend. So it should be good. It might even I'm going to pull out some of my old Star Wars trivia notes from back in the day when I used to do competitive trivia. So we'll see how well Rhino goes at that. Should be good.
Yep. I was never. I should be good at Star Wars trivia, but when we played Star Wars trivia, I was probably one of the worst. But
how many Y's in the word Kashyyyk?
What's that?
How many Y's in the word Kashyyyk?
I don't know. 2.
Actually, it's 3.
Is it?
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you everyone for being here. Again, I will be over on Jace's stream. Let me put the link to that. That starts, he pushed it back probably because I'm still going. So I'm going to chuck that in here. Obviously, Anna is doing the Jack show. I'm sure most of you will probably go over there, but I will be on Jace's stream talking a little bit more about Ahsoka. I don't know how much more I can talk about it, to be honest, but I will. And you guys have fucking been awesome. I appreciate all of you, and we will see you all next week. There's my outro here. Here we go. Bye, guys.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt!
A few minutes? Are you kidding? At the rate they're gaining?
No, what is it? You have to shoot this. Traveling through hyperspace is like Dustin, ain't like Dustin Crop's kid. Without precise calculations, we fly too close to a store. They're bounce into a supermarket and then...
Yeah.
Be a hell of a mess.
What's that?
Watch. You're losing the deflector shields. Go strap yourselves in. Be careful on the way out.
Yeah, sure. I'm taking it very cautiously.
You go away.
We bounced too near a supermarket?